of many players surviving as possible. Great round from Carrigan so far. Let's hope they can close it out. As indeed, Croman will. That's fantastic by Carrigan. He had a quiet game so far. The beat bomb side's been a bit of a problem for him. But that retake coming back in towards A. Clinical stuff with the M4A4. It's all the shots required after Nico opened things up. That was looking promising for Liquid there, but FaZe maintain their lead and take it 6-4. I'm not sure they picked up the AWP at the end. They could have done. Nitro had it. But instead opted to stay on the AK, I think. Well, Croman's on the M4. Maybe didn't fancy it. I'm not sure. That orb was certainly available.
Yeah, I would have thought he would have grabbed that. But either way, it's a round finally in favor of FaZe after giving away a few to Liquid. 3 in a row, we mentioned. So there's still money available to them as a result of that. 9,600, in fact, for Nitro, excuse me. So there's a chance they could bring out a T-sided op if they wanted to. Twist, I have to say, was very good at bringing it out on Nuke when they needed it late. It didn't necessarily amount to much given the scoreline on that map, but it was impressive. It showed that they do have some more depth on that weapon. As you say, it's not really like they're running formerly with JDM or the like, that they had a permanent opper.
Indeed. Well, here we go then. Another execution. Liquid, I like this set-piece gameplay. It's not a problem for me at all. That's a poor smoke coming from Rain. He was hoping it'd land on the flames there, but it's actually given them a lot of vision and maybe not taken away as much as he would like. Taco to find the first kill, the AW.
Interesting for more reasons than just how good it's been and how especially good Dust 2 was. It has to do, if you go back to the veto, trying to bring in Nuke early, catch FaZe off. I think there was more in it. I don't think they're going to feel like they were entirely defeated so much as they got beat by Guardian. They got beat in individual circumstances. It wasn't like they were completely dominated in their gameplay. It was just that they couldn't win important duels. Nonetheless, they lost that one-sidedly on the scoreboard. But Dust 2 was then the map choice for FaZe. They pull it back. Both maps that are the least played, and now we find ourselves on Mirage. I mean, this is an interesting series. This is starting to carve out perhaps future meta for these two teams if they're going to start to play these maps.
Well, pretty much everything invested here by FaZe, bar maybe $500 per player. They did manage to save over one M4. That's in the hands of Nico here. So they're trying to back him up the best they can. They don't want to spend every last dollar they've got. At least give themselves a fighting chance here. Nico knows he has to perform. I think he's currently in the A ramp, and indeed he is, but Nitro one step ahead of him, takes him down with the AWP. You can see the frustration setting in there for Nico, and Croman will be dealt with accordingly as well. What a resurgence Taco's had in his career since joining this squad. It's so many memorable moments, great frag highlights showing that he is capable to be one of the star players if needed. Great entry frags, can even AWP now it seems, and finding himself to have a very good tournament on home soil, so that's great. 5-2-3 in the round, and the M4 picked up by Rain, but it doesn't look like they'll hold on to this B-bomb size. Carrigan rotates in with just a pistol.
Yeah, just the pistol, but it is a CZ, and he gets a dink. If he gotten the kill, I would have maybe said there was a chance, but they'll save on this. They have to. Liquid's going to find a 6th round. We're going to find a tie game on Mirage. Very even map in terms of score, so don't count your chickens before they hatch. FaZe is certainly capable. Nico is someone famously with an AK that can open and exploit any given bomb site, any position in middle on the T side as well. Guardian's typically your CT-sided hero. He's had a bit of a slower time this game. 6 kills only for him. It's Rain that leads the way on 10 after the phenomenal start, but he's tied by Twist now on the other side, so Liquid's fraggers catching on.
Rain and Guardian to save the M4 here. We are going to be all tied up. Remember, that was pretty much a force buy. It wasn't every dollar that FaZe had, but everyone hovering on $500 after the investment. It suggests they will have to eco this one. They will save the M4 and Scouts, so not all is lost. We'll see whether they can maybe find a couple of kills here. We'll get some PT-50s out, maybe a CZ or two to go with it, but this is still anyone's map. It's certainly a CT-sided affair on Mirage. For anyone who's maybe not been following the entire tournament, yes, it's FaZe versus Liquid here. FaZe are technically playing with a stand-in, though. It's Croman instead of Exist or Olofmeister, whichever way you want to look at it these days. I would say at this point, considering Exist has joined Fnatic, you would have to say Olof, but the team has been struggling with the fifth the last few months, and Croman was brought in for this tournament, and I think Starladder as well. No, they weren't there? I can't remember. I think it's the second tournament he's had for them. Either way, Croman will open things up with the PT-50. Carrigan's there as well, and it's a 5 versus 3.
They were not at Starladder.
They were not at Starladder, you're right.
Nico, meanwhile, backing up the stairwell. It's Elige to swing in from Catwalk. He's got room. They're putting all their attention toward the apartments, but Nico is going to sneak behind them. Guardian slowing them down. and Elise gone. This could fall apart. It's all Nitro, and here he comes. Nico Q from behind, 7-6. They pull it back with pistols and keep 4 players alive, get 2 AKs, get an AWP. Perfect situation for FaZe to find themselves in.
It's not bad at all, is it? Holding up towards B, and that's why we always say, Matt, how many times we have to go over it. Going into B without a default start can be so detrimental against those CZs. It's such a tight choke point. All it takes is 1 kill to go against you. It can all snowball out of control. It's such a difficult call for me to imagine that you're thinking, oh, they've got no money here. Let's walk into B. It can be such a nightmare, but well played to FaZe. They steal away a couple of AKs here and the AWP, and once again keep the lead at 7-6. Back towards A there, but it looks at things with Taco and co. Nafly will be behind him as he goes to the first frag.
Now comes around the corner just in time to see his teammate die. Guardian gets the kill from CT. Twist has to deal with Rain. And there's a further twist in that because a Molotov thrown in his direction is going to force him all the way back in Palace. Rain may want to peek this. He's certainly positioning himself as Setch to go in, and he does. Twist realizes it, had the angle covered off, and Rain didn't really need to do that in a 5 versus 4. And immediately Twist heads back through his own spawn to gather the bomb. Elige doesn't need to do anything with this position. He won't yet. Presumably, Nitro starts to work toward the apartments just to get some information and then wraps back in the underpass. He and Elige will work mid. And it's going to be Naf and Twist to go to the A site.
4 on 4. Very slow play from Liquid now. They know they have an advantage here. Nitro with the AWP holding towards the B apartments right now, waiting for those reactions we discussed on Dust 2. Twist the bomb at A ramp. Nafly starting to walk in towards this area, but he knows Guardian's there. Lucky to be alive. Baits out the shot, and it will be Molotovs towards the side now, trying to flush out any potential CTs on the bomb side.
Nico and Guardian trying to find a boost up. It's Croman instead. Perfect timing on his rotation, but the AWP is hoping that bomb goes to the inside of the boxes. It will not. So they'll get a plant. Croman still getting closer toward jungle, leaves Twist little room to move. He'll play at bench. He wants them to commit first, and rightfully so. Guardian's op is going to have to fall off the drop, and they've done that because there's nothing available to it. They have to start working inside of the site. Twist has to be so careful. Guardian's already got Nitro. He now knows they're behind him, and he's got to be ready for both. Good headshot. Great recovery. How does Guardian pull that off while he's in the air? As Naf manages to at least get it back, but it's all on Naf. He's got a second. Needs to find the third. It's Croman who's got the shot instead.
Well done to Croman. Holds his nerve there. It was looking very scary for a second. FaZe win the round, but at what cost? Guardian with 3 kills, but Croman there to finish it off with a couple. Nafly looked so deadly in that situation. He felt like he was going to nail the last kill as well. Here's Guardian taking down Nitro. That was his opposing orb, and this shot was just phenomenal.
It looked like from the other POV that he was still in the air. His feet actually did touch top of Ticket.
Yeah.
I was going to say, how the hell did that hit?
There's the hometown hero, Taco. Every time he gets a kill or comes on camera, it seems to erupt the arena. And we'll have a look at the aggression coming in. It's the CT's trying to push forward here, and he's going to find 2 kills. That's Croman with the AK. Can he get anything more done? Smartly falls back. Rain's been tagged up, but they want to maintain this man advantage for as long as they possibly can. They don't need to end the round right here.
Forget Rain's start. It's Croman who tops the charts right now. Taco does get one back, doesn't make the jump in the first try to get toward the window, but he just wants to hold. He wants to see if he can catch anyone rotating back. Croman was already gone. Even if he made the jump, Croman was already gone, just to note. But oh my goodness, Guardian.
Hello.
How smart is that?
Yep.
Creep forward, check that position.
Yeah, sees the little booties. It's all over. And it will be a 4 versus 2 now. And he does spot Naf, but doesn't quite kill him there. Legs him down to 16, and he'll finish things off as well. That's surely the round at this point. Twist, a minute to work with in a 4 versus 1. No bomb. It's the final round. No saving required. But it looks like FaZe should be able to take 9-6 at half. It's still very good half from Liquid. Remember, it's CT-sided, so they'll be absolutely fine with this. As Twist should be dealt with momentarily. There's the first kill. Still has a fighting chance. It's not impossible to win this. They do know his whereabouts now, though. Time ticking away. And every second that passes confirms that this might not be possible, as he is now flashed off towards that connector. Starts to fall back, just hoping the CTs make mistakes here. Molotov in, peek towards shores. Anything there? Nothing at all. 9-6 at half. Pretty much what we expected here. Both of these teams were both very well versed on Mirage. It was a little bit back and forth in the middle there.
You got to remember as well, it was an eco-round win that pulled it back for FaZe. I mean, Liquid had momentum, and it looked like they might actually stretch their legs. They pulled back an incredible string of, I know it doesn't sound as incredible, but basically 5 rounds over 6, meaning there was a reset in the middle of that. So they did very well to recover from where they were. I have to say, though, Henry, Croman is looking very impressive.
He is. I'm a big fan. Ever since I saw him play with Dignitas and that kind of weird lineup with him, Fox, Rubino, I think it was, and Tensky, I want to say.
That's right, yeah, I think that's exactly right.
I think that's what I talked to. I'd never heard of him before until that minor, and I thought he looked fantastic. I was praising him the entire tournament, and I'm glad to see him getting some more recognition here, marking for a few more teams, and now for FaZe.
Well, and there's rumors that if Olaf stays out for an extended period of time, the stand-in position will eventually become a contracted position. Whether or not that means it's permanent, whether or not that means Olaf out, I don't know. What I do mean is that they want something that they can start to work toward and build toward. I know there's 4 players in line or in consideration. You might want to add Croman to that permanent list if they go that direction, because he is proving himself very well. Twist falls off of CT, not before Nitro can find Rain. However, Nitro does get tagged to 3 HP immediately after trying to hold off toward the vent. Bomb gets planted for FaZe, and Croman is tasked with holding the rotation that will arrive from B, at least the most expected or closest arrival. Forces them naturally around to go towards CT. And in the site, it's Nitro, Elige, Twist, and Tonko, all from that direction, and maybe all being taken down by one man. That man is guardian of the site, apparently, as he holds over top of the bomb. The others are all out in the wings. He's got to cover it himself, but they're on it in the smoke. They're on it in the smoke, but it may not matter. Guardian and Croman all adding it for it up, and Croman catches Twist.
I think they had a chance at the 4 defuse in the smoke. I think I would have stuck it. They got off it, came out the smoke, gave heads available to Guardian, and he just removes every single one. P250 so strong on the T side pistol, and you can see why it has that one-tap potential. You can duel confidently against those USPs. Here's Croman and Twist with equal stats, both of them hovering around 100 ADR, Twist a little bit less. And presumably, after losing that round, Liquid with some investment here in the second. Just how much is the question as they take a timeout here. A chance to look at the scoreboard overall. 15 kills for Twist at the top. Next to him is Nitro on 10. 7 for Taco, 7 for Nav, 6 for Elige. Croman at the top, not quite anymore. Guardian does just kind of take over to that with 16 kills. Next is Croman at 15. Rain 11, Carrigan 8, and Nico. He sometimes has these performances on Mirage. 5 kills for Nico. And for someone who's always in the conversation for world's best player, he does have too many of these sort of games where...
Well, and I think that those games have been highlighted more because of the Majors issue that they had, where they were, FaZe was number one, they get in every final, but then they wouldn't win. And it seemed like he was having a few struggles in those games, especially, that made people really start to realize it.
Sure. So, he can have those phenomenal performances, great games, but it's always Mirage, it feels like. But we're still in the second half.
And I'm surprised by that, because I mentioned it. T-side, I remember this guy. The first game I ever saw him, it was me and Toby Wan casting Mousesports in his first tenure, because remember, he was benched from Mousesports at a point due to, I think, a language barrier. He wasn't that good at English at the time. He had something like, I want to say 40 kills over 2 maps, and I think 31 of them were on Mirage. It was the first time I'd ever seen him.
Well, he is much better on the T side. He always is in this Palace area, and here we go. He's off as he finds the opening kill. Remember, this was the force buy from Team Liquid, and that bomb's going down. Oh, there he is. Nitro will just arm it, I guess, in a way, and we'll leave him at 3 versus 1. He won't be able to win the round from this, but it's certainly worth going for a kill, and he'll be taken down by Nico in the end, who gets 3 kills in that round. So in the T side, I do expect him to provide much bigger numbers here. He might even finish top of the scoreboard, knowing him. So we'll see what happens, but it is going to be the full eco for now, and likely to go 12-6 here, as Liquid can do nothing in this round but spectate, really, with the default weaponry. Third and final map here to get into that grand final, both with a map apiece. They'll be playing either SK Gaming or Mousesports in the final. That's the game coming after this. Another best of 3. That's going to be amazing. Not only for the hype of SK, but Mousesports are looking sharp as well. Rops and Sunny look ungodly right now. They have got nothing playing for them as well. So not the full squad, but still, trust me, that's going to be an amazing game. Do not go anywhere after this one. But for now, we'll get back to this action. Liquid, not a single dollar brought into round number 18 here. Just USPs, no armor, no nades, just to hold up and hope they can find maybe a couple of kills. But remember what Nafly did on Dust 2 with the USP before. You don't see 2 kills against full buys every day with this particular weapon. But we'll see what he's capable of.
So Nitro waiting for this Cinder boost at corner in case they work down catwalk, but no one's going to expose themselves as of yet. Croman does reveal that he's down below. Interesting that they've got a CZ on both Croman and Rain. Try to build up some bank here. Not going to work out necessarily. FaZe is still taking the round. I say this, they've got to be careful. The two AKs are up. Rain's still left with that CZ. And if they can catch him off, they can trade it out against Guardian. There's still a chance for Nafly. He does now have to go against both armored players, however, and not with a kit, not with armor himself. The bomb already planted. It will go 12-6. Naf, at the best case, wants to try and pick up one of the guns that's dropped, but that's shut down by Rain.
3 kills and a full eco map. That's not bad at all. You're keeping FaZe modest at that point, so that's not too bad. We'll see round number 19 come through, and for now, AWP for Guardian. We're going to see the AK-47s come out in full force. Not the same story though for Team Liquid. Remember, that force buy in the second round means they do only have M4s, no kits. They do have most of their utility, to be fair, so it's not completely disastrous. Those few kills allowing them to get a few more pieces of kit. But this is a huge round. Liquid will be eco if they lose this one. If they lose this round, they're 13-6 down. Then their eco could be 14. So a lot of pressure riding on this particular one. We'll see what they can do. It's a contact play towards B. We all know it's Taco that holds in the B bomb site. The way he's playing so far in this tournament, I wouldn't say he's a weakness whatsoever. He can cause a lot of damage here. There's the first kill. And will he find the second? Not quite. The trade doesn't help out Liquid too much. But Nafly finding that one certainly does. This round's on. The retake has to happen here for Liquid. They cannot really afford to save. I want to see them go for it. 4 players against 3. The Liege waits.
They're already in middle together. The problem with that is they still have to work through the vents. They've got Nitro in position toward Checker. No one jumping out to catwalk just yet. Good flash in. And Kerrigan gets away for free as well. 98 HP still. That's what he went in there with. Now they might reconsider, especially with a shot like that from Kerrigan. Down goes Elise as well. No further kills. 1 versus 3 at Naf. And at that point, you have to concede. So it goes 13-6. FaZe now 3 rounds away. And Liquid facing harsh realities in the fact that they have 0 money to work with.
Well, that's a massive asset now for FaZe. The fact they get in towards B with just a single trade there, usually just one player anchoring the site, especially if you've gone for a focus towards A because you haven't got the AWP, no one's towards shore. Taco did what he could. 1 was good, but unfortunately for him, Kerrigan looked fantastic here. The second kill as well, it felt like he was going down for sure. This CT had the advantage as he comes round, but Nitro completely wrecked there. 13-6. They save over an AK-47. What can they do with this round? The money just isn't there to force. They're going to take a few CZs, 4 now to be exact, and some Kevlar. They have saved around $2,000 per player. This round is possible. Nafly definitely capable of carrying around single-handedly. It's all up to FaZe to make a couple of mistakes, though, as he'll fire off towards Connect and give up the fact that's where the AK resides. FaZe going to be very close to finishing this game off after this round. That's if they can win it. I'm not going to say it's going to be easy, though. Nico tagged up already.
Yeah, I was going to say he was challenging that position, expecting a push. They will get one now, and in fact, Twist got Croman, not Nico. So if he actually had hit the low HP player as well, you might have got away with a 4 versus 3. In fact, I think it would have been a 5 because it was Nico that got the kill in return. So if he was down and therefore not able to get the shot, you'd have a 5 versus 3. Taco's going to push up. They seem ready for this as Rain climbs up the ladder. Taco hearing the crowd thinks maybe something's in that, backs away. Whether or not he heard the crowd or just anticipated it, up for debate. I don't think it's that predictable, but nonetheless, Rain tagged. It won't go down. It's Elise. They're just being relentless at this point. Why not? Get some guns for the next round at the very least as Nitro waits in B.
This is still winnable, man. This is still winnable, trust me. Nitro's positioning right now. They have no idea he's in the B side. If they make a mistake, just go for the straight-up plant. He takes down some low HP players here. That could be enough, but Elise making noise now. Oh, he's going backwards. I say, I'll take it back. I thought he was going to be running towards Nico there, but not going to be the case. That should be the round now. They're going to save the 2 AKs here. They've got a CZ available, and there will be money into the next round in terms of the loss bonus or a maximum. So saving 2 AKs is fine. Giving away the round, though, still bitter with 14-6 now coming in for FaZe.
He was right around the corner from Nico, and I thought the same thing as you, but he got that AK. I'm surprised Nico didn't actually try and protect it. So they'll carry 2 further guns, 14-6. They were down on Nuke. They didn't come back. They did face adversity on Dust 2 and prevail. But not before FaZe closed the gap to Liquid, and now they've really got to dig deep. Or it'll be FaZe into a grand final. Don't forget, Stewie 6K and his 4 teammates Not that the crowd here thinks any different of SK. The Brazilians will be in front of their home crowd next, and they go against Mousesports. Nothing is on the stage with them as a stand-in, but they've been impressive as well.
Yes.
I don't think that's necessarily, I mean, the way SK is playing in this game, and certainly in this tournament, they've got the motivation. They seem hungry to win in front of this crowd, which is an excellent thing. I don't know that I would still favor them cleanly.
I wouldn't say, I'd say that's 3-map bloodbath. That's not going to be a clean-cut game. Either way, we'll see who can close this one out. Final map here. Double orb set up for the first time on the CT side for Team Liquid. Running out of time now. They haven't posted a single round in their CT half. 14-6. Rain waiting towards the A ramp. 15 frags to his name so far. The bombs in the B apartments though. So it will be Taco, the AWP, in towards that B bomb site. He's now left alone to his own devices. The bomb is there, but Guardian is there with his sniper as well. That is not going to be an easy pick to take down. Taco might find himself in hot water soon. As Nico gets ready towards the Palace. Twist might be looking to challenge him. Whoever wins this fight could be deciding the outcome of the round. Twist will nail it first, but Rain's there looking incredibly sharp. Only good for one, surely. That gap's going to take him down. Nice work by Twist, but the bomb goes in towards B now. Is Taco ready for this? We'll find out. Flashback, really no good for him, but he still hits the shot. My God, that was good.
Reminiscent of Dust 2 as Taco steps up. He only manages one this time. Kerrigan's still in middle. Recovers on Twist. Back to a 2 versus 2. 37 seconds. Bomb is in B. Kerrigan's found by Nap. And that forces Guardian off the plant. He's tried to bait Elige in. He's quick. But Elige gets back around the corner. That won't allow him to go for the fast peek, and they know that he's not on the plant. And therefore, they're trying to buy time.
Wow.
Good shot from Nap. 14-7. Must-win round, and they pull it off.
Taco, I don't know how he gets that shot in B. He knew he was only good for one. Fully flashed, has to recover from that situation to pull off this beautiful shot towards Croman. Guardian maybe even better on the return, but still, that was enough for them to win the round. Carrick is positioned towards middle. Found him one kill, but nice spree fire from Naf in towards that window. Gets them around here. It was expensive. If Liquid lose this one, that could be the game because they'll have map point against them and series point and a full reset. They can't really afford to lose anything at this stage. I think that goes without saying considering the scoreline. But Rain taken down by Elige, but quickly replied by Guardian. But Napfly tries to push the envelope through the smoke, and it will leave him in a 3 versus 3. Twist waits at the A ramp.
Gap in the smoke. You don't want to flirt with it for too long because it's Nico. He seldom misses a second chance. And he was given one as Twist couldn't land right away. Double op set up to hold off against 3, and this is must win. Taco knows it. He's got one. Nitro still needs to hit this. Spread out as they are. They almost need this to come down to 1 man remaining. The bomb's going to come back that direction. Nico's already inside of the site. He now knows that Nitro's towards CT. Ticket booth covered off by the Molotov. He can't jump up in the box. The smoke to follow with the flash instead. I think he was trying to buy himself some space and thinking that they were going to push forward. He really just wants the rotation to arrive. And Taco's trying to cover the cross. They know that because they know he was in B. So a flash and a safe plant. And now it's a retake with 2 AWPs. Swap over surely. Get the AK that's on the catwalk. That's exactly what Taco will do. Nitro smoke still down and Taco gone. It's all to Nitro. And this could be for the game. Croman gets the kill. It's map point and very little money to work with on the Liquid side.
15-7 there. I can see what Nitro wanted to do is extinguish the flames, maybe get that smoke a bit deeper to gain access to the site. But ultimately, when he's got the orb, he doesn't have the freedom of the M4 to sneak through and maybe get a kill. He had just to wait 10 seconds there while his smoke went down and his teammate tries to recover the situation. They couldn't work together, and now it's a complete mishmash in terms of the buy. MP9, CZ, FAMAS, UMP. You get the picture. It's not looking good at all. Series point for FaZe as they close in on victory here. It's going to take 8 clean rounds in a row, and they might not even get one as the lead will go down first. It's Croman to open things up with the AK-47. Now they can just run a depot. Nothing too flashy has to come in here from FaZe. They've got the advantage. They've ascertained the money is officially low. Oh my goodness, Guardian lucky to be alive there with that pick. Taco knows he needs a kill. They just haven't got the firepower to find the frags. It's the MP9, the FAMASs, and if Croman goes down, there's a chance. Who comes out on top of this duel? It's a CZ drawn out. And Croman smartly falls back. Not worth the risk of any sort of trade potential there.
Twist still wants to work up. He's trying to bait in Taco as well. He's low. Taco's revealed himself early, but he gets one, just one. Rain's able to swing back out. Had to go through that smoke, and I think he didn't realize that it was going to be as shallow as it was, meaning he had a bit more of the corner to work with, but either way, Commits to it. Naf still has the UMP. And Nitro on a CZ75 has Kerrigan to worry about. Shot from Nitro at range. Kerrigan's on 1. That's 1 too many in their opinion, though, because they want this to come to a 2 versus 2. They need every kill they can get, and a Molotov's going to force Nitro out. They know he's got to go to the right side because he's already peeked left, backed off to the wall. Wow. Another dink. Another dink.
Valiant effort there from Nitro, but that might not be enough. There are 2 very low HP players, and Nafly has got to dig so deep here. The bomb's not planted. That's one thing he's got going in his favor. He has to win this round or they're out of the tournament. And now the bomb going down. He hunts towards middle. The Kerrigan, great position, and he closes it out. It's going to be 16-7, 2-1 overall in favor of Team FaZe. They just booked themselves a place in the grand final.
And an applause from the crowd for Liquid's efforts. It was a great series. FaZe are undeniably world beaters. And Kroman, just to note, finished with 22. Topped the leaderboard for FaZe. So credit where credit is due. As you say, they'll be in a best-of-5 finals tomorrow. And whether that is against SK or Mousesports is yet to be determined. Taco will get his final salute from the crowd.
Yeah, you can see they absolutely adore him here. And Team Liquid in general. They can keep their heads held high. It was a rough first map for them, but they fought back valiantly in the second. They did not give up. They managed to overturn the results and take FaZe 16-14 on that map. Mirage just didn't seem to have enough left in the tank for them. And if FaZe are firing on cylinders, they turn up and all 5 players are looking hot. There's not many teams in the world that can take them down. Decent tournament overall for Liquid, but they will be disappointed with that, and that look says it all.
Absolutely. It's tough to sit in front of this crowd and not get another chance to play for them, but he played his heart out. Dust 2 was exemplary. We're going to throw it over to the analysts. We've got another series coming up.
Absolutely we do. Yes, we get to see Mousesports take on SK now, but Taco looking rather glum and defeated, understandably so. Put up a good fight. There were 4-3 maps. We get to see that it was, of course, Mirage. We talked about one, and FaZe remain unbeaten. They have not, with this roster of 5, with Kroman as a standard, lost on this particular map. Chad, you were the one that gave us that information, and oh, they look spotless.
Yeah, and if we address that pistol stat once more, it's 4 out of 18 for Liquid across the course of this tournament. Not fantastic by any means. And then in this series, they only won 1 out of 6. So when you're losing the game 16-7, a pistol round definitely can get you win it here. But there was a couple of executes they had on that T side, which didn't go too aggressive. They could have actually converted and got more rounds in the first half, I think.
Hell yeah, they could. We do have Guardian on the stage, though. I don't want to keep him waiting. I know he's going to be anxious to celebrate and probably practice with the grand final coming tomorrow. So let's check in with Guardian before we break things down.
All right, truly an amazing win by FaZe. I'm here with Guardian. Guardian, let's go back to Nuke, your first map. Truly amazing performance. A few tournaments ago, you guys played Liquid in Nuke, and it was very different, 16-3 to them. What did you learn from that, and how did it go so different?
I mean, we knew that our individual skill is pretty good, and we knew that Liquid hasn't played good Nuke lately. So we knew they had to go for Nuke, because we were banning Inferno. Inferno was their main pick, but we banned it, so we knew that most likely it will be Nuke. So we didn't really prepare for the map. We knew what they are doing approximately. We had some analyze, and that's it, nothing special.
You guys just played against Taco in a very loud crowd. You could be facing SK tomorrow in the finals for an even louder crowd. At this point, does it make a difference?
I wouldn't say it makes difference. I mean, we are here to win, and we have to disconnect from the outer world. We have to focus on the screen. That's our main goal. So, I mean, it's amazing they have crowd behind them, but we will be only in our screens and we will play our game. So, our focus will not be on the crowd or anything. We will just focus on the game, and we will do our best to win.
All right, congratulations on an amazing win. FaZe Clan, everybody!
Guardian looking focused, if anything, not necessarily ready to start the celebrations, and I guess that's the winner's mindset. That's the mindset Kerrigan has instilled in the Maniac. He said they'd be disappointed if they didn't win. They're already in the grand finals and haven't even broken a sweat, at least not on that 3rd map. Let's talk about Mirage.
Well, I'm going to say it out loud. I'm a little bit frustrated about Liquid.
Okay.
I just want to take a minute. From the point where Liquid, I think, was down 5-1 to 6-6, in my opinion, Liquid played a close to perfect T half. So you had an A execute, you had a slow D.
Or 1v2 from Nico, 1 does 2, whatever it may be. And that's when they do seem to have a bit of a turn for the worst.
Yeah, look, there's obviously mental issues within the team in the sense of, you know, they can crumble, they can capitulate in these kind of environments. I think the big one was where Taka got the 2 opening kills. It was a 3-on-5 situation. They're unable to convert there. They obviously got back on the board in the following. But
yeah,
the sense of the matter is, you know, those kind of rounds, if they put them in the bank, they're going to put themselves a lot closer to getting that victory. I would just want to point out Croman's impact over the course of this series. In every T-sided pistol, he had at least 2 kills, which is huge, right? It's huge when you're winning 5 out of 6 pistol rounds, and he is the stand-in, showing that, you know, they use him like a, I don't want to say blunt object, but if they use him purely from the sense of, hey, let's just get this guy in positions where he can get frags, he can definitely contribute. And we saw here, he was the top scorer for his squad on in Mirage.
And you know what, you talked about it before as well, as the Vuvuzelas are out. I guess it is World Cup season. Maniac, you were talking a little bit about Guardian in playoffs. The stats for the series, 3 maps. Tell that story. 1.43 rating. You don't see that every day. You don't see that every week. I mean, this is madness. And alongside that, you have Nico and Croman actually 2nd and 3rd, respectively. That's a scary pack of hard hitters when Rain doesn't need to necessarily be dropping crazy numbers. He's still comfortable with just under 1 rating. But either way, you've got another hard hitter now who is perhaps doing more of what Olaf would have done statistically.
Yeah, I think so. I think he can be used a little bit more flary, a little more aggressively. That's something which Olaf was doing when he was on the roster, and then when things changed with Exist, not known for those kind of entry frags. He can definitely clutch, he can definitely play solid CS, but I think Croman has a little bit more depth in terms of his firepower and what he can actually bring to the squad.
Couldn't agree more.
I just want to point out about Guardian and kind of addressing the young people, the young players out there watching the tournament. He is, in my opinion, such a good model as an AWPer. In his efficiency, he's playing simple CS, correct CS. He's using his AWP almost to perfection in every clutches. And I think that's one of the reasons why he always shows up in playoffs. His style doesn't rely on crazy 180 no-scope backflip, you know. He plays right Counter-Strike, and for me, is amazing.
Just to build on that, in the last couple of tournaments when Yanko and I have been watching Guardian play with the AWP, he's been bloodlusting a lot, which is basically re-peaking and constantly going for duels.
Sure.
Here today, he was playing a more conservative brand, getting a kill, going back to a new angle, taking another kill. But the cool thing about Guardian is he will reinitiate on an area once they've obviously thought, okay, he's moved now, right? And that's one of the best things I think is in his I guess, repertoire of AWPing is he's not afraid. And when you're not afraid as an AWPer, that's a fantastic asset for an in-game leader like Karrigan to use.
Yeah, I don't blame him for being the master of not being afraid. He very rarely plays in front of a home crowd, and he's certainly no stranger to the big stage. You know, every single event, every time he gets off that plane and starts playing Counter-Strike, the crowd is
and if they do go up against SK in the grand final, Karrigan, he's got on top of that curse, you know, the sense of never being able to beat Fallen in a series. They did that at the Pro League finals just not that long ago in Dallas. So that whole mental barricade that we've been associating with Karrigan should be gone now. So there shouldn't be any, I guess, caveats or excuses in that regard.
Yeah, you can see Karrigan's tweet actually just saying that the crowd here is amazing, and he's saying Famos Brazil. He's trying to pander. You know, we talked about it. He still wants, Karrigan likes to get the crowd on his side for sure, just as an individual. Anyway, with enough said about that series, I just want to focus on the takeaways we have from Liquid now. They are departing the tournament semi-finals. We'll be talking more about FaZe tomorrow, but Liquid, the story ends here. Maniac, you said, other than, you know, what was clear critique on their performance on that third map, do you know, is this something that they could necessarily be happy with? It's another semi-final finish. It's not like these guys have been inconsistent. They get into playoffs every time.
I think it's hard to draw one only conclusion from what happened here. I think what's going to be important for Liquid is to be able to identify why they play their best and why they don't. Because I think Liquid is one of the teams which has had the most variance in how they were playing in the tournament. Yeah, exactly. I've seen beautiful moments like these 3 or 4 rounds I've mentioned, and then we've seen more disappointing ones. So for them, it's an issue of consistency.
Yeah. Well, we talk about beautiful moments. I think Naf had his fair share of them at this tournament. He saved Liquid just yesterday in their battle versus Big Clan on Cash. Well, he's standing by now for a loser's interview with Trace.
Thank you very much, Machine. Yes, I'm standing here with Nafly himself, and a guy that is no stranger to putting firepower downrange. Naf, it was a tough loss. You guys were able to bring it back from the second map. Talk to me about what's going through your mind right now, man.
Obviously, we're very disappointed. I feel like we could have had that series, but yeah, I don't know. Guardian was playing amazing. I know Guardian was just demolishing me every time I peeked him, so I had no answers to him. They all played great, but yeah, overall, it's pretty disappointing.
I mean, you can't hang your head too low. You guys made it all the way to the semis. You battled it out. You got this far. You can't hang your heads too low. But one thing I'm going to have to ask you, because this is a pretty surreal experience for just about anybody playing in front of this crowd. You had the Brazilians behind your back. How did it feel?
Yeah, the Brazilians are insane. Like they're always yelling. They're just yeah. Honestly, it's I think the loudest crowd for sure. I think there's like no doubt they're the loudest crowd that I think we've ever played in front of. And honestly, it's amazing that they kind of support us because we got Taco and Zeus on our team. So it was fun to have them cheering for us. But yeah, sorry we couldn't win.
No need for the apologies. You tried your hardest. And you can't forget about the Ellie Giggle himself. Elige somehow has also managed to grab a Brazilian fan base. Naf, what's next for you guys? Where do you go from this?
Well, I guess we have like ESL Cologne in like 2 weeks. But it's good for us just to have a break because I think we've been on the road just back-to-back lands for like 40 days. So we can finally actually practice something and fix our map pool because right now it only seems like we have like 2 or 3 maps that we're decent on, to be honest. Like it's really bad right now. So obviously we can get to go home, take a break, and get some actual practice in.
Well, take your time, do what you must. Don't hang your head too low. Brazil loves you guys. Thank you very much, Naf. Alex, let's go ahead and close this one out. Get ready for the next one.
That was Nafly there. Yes, absolutely. Team Liquid have finally got some time to practice. Chad, this is something you've been rabbiting on about for a while.
Yeah, for them and the likes of Mousesports, and there's a couple of other teams in that same kind of place as them. But look, him addressing the map pool there, I think this game was lost in the veto. The fact of the matter is, you know, Karrigan setting up this whole Lions Den approach of, hey, you want to pick that, like you're not going to be able to pick your comfort pick, which you've done in every series thus far. We're going to force you onto nuke. We know your game plan, you know, throw the wall smokes, try and get down secret, and from there, that's where it all fell apart and the wheels fell off for Liquid, I think.
Yeah, I think we're going to leave it there because we do have another match to prepare ourselves for. Get them set up on the stage. You can go ahead and grab yourself another cup of tea. It looks like you're running a little low there on your desk. I'm talking to you, Paul. Imagine if there was a guy called Paul watching with a cup of tea. Really freaking out. Anyway, we're taking a break. When we do come back, we have Mousesports versus SK Gaming. They call him SK. It's coming up after the break.
Incendiary out. seriously get that dude in smoke?
Yo.
Game, record, and stream without compromise. An Intel Core i7.
This is all timing now, Anders. Who's going to look the right way at the right time? It's happening! Nothing he does, and he just stands up! Ice cold!
They're taking off their clothes. They're putting it all on display. What an amazing team.
Start your esports career now at play.eslgaming.com.
One city, one stage, one trophy.
And another kill to find Fallen.
One moment. ESL One New York 2018.
ESL One Bh is brought to you in part by Intel, Alienware, DHL, Logitech G, Betway, and PaySafeCard.
Vamos, Brazil. This is going to be a big one. This is SK Gaming once again stepping out to the home stage, the home crowd, and indeed they have got loud, and I'm proud to be here. My name's Machine, and I'm rhyming all the time, and I do have Maniac, and I do have a rather well-dressed, or at least to some people's standards, Jason Moses O'Toole. Look at you. You've just sprinted from that stage.
Yeah, you know, I've been working out all for this moment. I just want to know how many people in the arena were made in Brazil.
3 people, actually.
Yeah, 3. That didn't go as well as I planned.
6, 7.
They're going to get there. Just warming them up.
Yeah, so you're going to invoice for saying that, right?
Yeah, definitely. That's going on it.
Okay, that's going to go on the invoice. Either way, hype is definitely building. Anyone who doesn't know what Jason just did, he's just pandered like no one else. He's full-on eating bamboo. He's kicked SK signed balls into the crowd?
Not just SK, every Brazilian player. We had Elige, we had Stewie, we had Beta.
All the favorites.
Brazilian caster.
Damn, you've
done
done well.
Yeah, I've put in some work this event.
That is fantastic. I'm jealous. Also, do you know pandas die if they don't eat like something stupid like 23 hours a day?
I did not know that.
Yeah, crazy stuff.
That's pretty wild. That's a lot of eating.
That's a panda fact for you. How have I still got this job? Mousesports versus SK Gaming is coming up, and I do, of course, have Maniac joining us for a second time. First question to you, dude. I am carefully monitoring my expectations here, because I don't think this is necessarily going to be the dream walk in the park that the fans in SK would like here.
No, I think it's a fair assessment.
We have to be realistic.
It is a fair assessment. On the plus side for SK, you have this crazy crowd, of course, the stadium. And also another fact for me is that Mousesports were never really tested in this tournament yet.
Who have they played?
They didn't really have to fight.
They destroyed Liquid.
Yeah,
NTC.
Arguably Liquid will not play. Yeah. So I wonder how is Mousesports going to react, and how deep can they go in their gameplay if SK show up.
Have SK been tested? I mean, do we consider that decider match?
Oh, yeah.
Space Soldiers game?
They lost to Space Soldiers, and then they played them again. They had to fight to win the first map. Then they ran away with us 2 a little bit easier. But they had to fight, for sure.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest takeaways, actually, the man that was just fragging and still is on your screens. Stewie2K has found his feet offline for SK for, in my opinion, the first time.
Yeah, and he's doing a really good job in this team, and part of it is because I think as he gets more and more comfortable, he's going to stop feeling like he needs to put up numbers. Stewie is not a player that's like fashioned to rack up 30-some kills a game.
Or not deliberately, anyway.
Right, and he's supposed to just have impact. His kind of play style, his kind of game is he's going to create something for his teammates. He wants Cold to have the big numbers. He wants them to be at the top of the scoreboard, but he needs to start things out. He needs to open things up, and I think as we've seen this team get more comfortable, he's kind of been a little bit more reserved in what he's trying to do.
I'm with you.
But when they get behind, you can still see some of that come back into it, where he's trying to do too much.
But has he kind of, are you telling me he's kind of broken out of the shackles of, you know, the smoke criminal? He was always the guy pushing the smoke, making the outrageous plays. Have we kind of moved, is there a different Stewie in the server now?
Yeah, there has been for quite some time, actually. Yeah. I think that meme has gone on as far longer than it should have been. This is a guy whose career and his development as a player has increased at such an incredible pace that he's outgrown those stigmas that he had early on in his career. And I think after definitely after the major win, he's a player you have to look at and say he's very adaptable, very versatile as a player.
I couldn't agree more, actually. And while we continue to watch him frag, I mean, he did win rounds, and this is a spectacular way to end the game against Space Soldiers. Maniac, what's your read on Stewie as a player? I mean, he's had a very different career path to yourself. I mean, he's just climbed like that. You click your fingers, he's on a stage like this.
No, absolutely. His rising has been amazing and very nice to see.
Yeah.
But the thing that really struck me when the SK did the change for Taco and Stewie was, as good as Taco is, as good as Stewie is, when you look at the profile of player, that's a massive change.
Right, it's a big shift.
How Taco was used in SK, how Stewie was used in Cloud9, where he was performing very well, in my opinion. So as soon as I heard about this change, I thought that's one structural challenge for SK. So
you immediately start checking your watch, saying, how long am I going to give them?
I mean, for me, it was not really a big surprise that SK took some time to find how they really wanted to play, because of how the player profile is so different from before. And also the formula that they had before with Taco was working, in my opinion. The results were pretty good. So
winning some majors helps.
Definitely. It was. That was a big challenge, and I think Stewie finding his form, it's a very good indicator of SK health in general.
And that's a kind of the first conversation I think we should have is SK's health. I mean, not of course in the literal sense, but as a team, we sit here and we go, we were really worried when we saw that, or at least I personally was, really worried that we were going to lose another top contender to a roster change because of a lack of results.
Well, we kind of have in a way, right? We don't look at SK as that same kind of force that can challenge Astralis for trophies in the same way. So, and in some kind of level, we have kind of lost SK as a challenger. That doesn't mean they're not still dangerous. Like I said yesterday, they're on the right path. They're going to get back to that point. If you have faith in anyone, it's going to be Fallen. It's going to be coldzera to be able to find something that works, because we've seen them make roster changes and have success with them, no matter whether it's been, you know, Phelps coming in, whether it's been Bolts, when FNX left the roster, and obviously the changes they had to make in 2015. So this is a team that very much knows how to get back to the top.
Yeah, and of course I've introduced you. I should introduce the casters that will be guiding you through this one on broadcast. If you're watching at home, it is going to be the voices of two British fellas, my main men. We do have, of course, the boys from Tom Biz and Harry hanging out. And this is going to be, guys, we talked about it in the green room. This is the biggest game you'll have ever had the opportunity to cast.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. We're over the moon down here, Alex. We got some British representation this event on the talent. You know, Rush is observing as well. But this is great. Mousesports, they've beat SK in every best of 3 this year. But this time, they're not just up against SK. They're up against what feels like all of Brazil. So, yeah, the atmosphere is electric. Tom, how are you feeling about this one?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for that 6th member. That's pretty much it. I want to hear the roar of the crowd. And I'm excited to see if I can hear myself over them.
Yeah, well, we're going to have to give this one back to you guys on the desk. We're going to prepare for stuff down here, so good luck.
Thank you very much, gents. Yes, and there is so much more to add spice to this matchup as well. Not only do we have your casters outlined, we've already said that SK are on this rise. There's a little bit of extra taste in this one, and that's, of course, the rivalry. Now, I'll let you explain this one, Jason. We have 2 North Americans taking to the stage with quite an interesting twist.
Yeah, well, I mean, Jordan and Nothing and Stewie, former teammates as well. And I think Nothing's departure was really solidified Stewie's establishment as kind of the leader of that Cloud9 team. So you have kind of that, the passing of the torch in one sense of like kind of the NA star going over towards Stewie. And they're the 2 players who lifted the trophy last time we were in Brazil, 2016, the Pro League Finals. Those were the guys who upset SK in the finals in Sao Paulo to lift that trophy. So there's one right there. And I mean, just overall, I know they had a little bit of a Twitter exchange last night where it was like, oh, Stewie's like, oh, I don't think Jordan's lost in Brazil, and Fallen goes way, way back. So he remembers all the times Nothing has come down to Brazil and gone home empty-handed. So there's that level of it as well.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun. The fact that you've got 2 teammates, both now no longer wearing the Cloud9 jersey. That was just last year. Was it last year? 2 years ago?
Oh my God! Last year, that had to. Have
it must have been last year. Time doesn't fly that quickly.
It could.
Wait, let me think. What did I have to do?
You put me on the spot here, Alex.
I had to have a wax, didn't I? I had a Brazilian wax. That was definitely a year ago.
You loved that.
So that's how you remember.
Yeah, I had a Brazilian wax. Had to paint my nails pink.
You don't forget something like
Henry and Max.
Listen, I've seen the footage. I haven't forgotten either.
Yeah. All right. God, and the poor guy that had to edit that video as well. Yeah, that footage is on the internet forever. Either way, this is when you put them head to head. You're Jordan and Stewie. But bear in mind as well that Nothing has played less games. Mousesports, of course, topping their group. They finished 2-0 with a win versus NTC and a win versus Team Liquid. I think the Liquid win was where a lot of the credit was given.
Nothing's also played far less Counter-Strike recently. Like, not only being out of professional and competitive Counter-Strike for a year, but even just to warm up for this event. He was just doing analyst work in London last week.
And Maniac, my question to you, how is that, is that something that could genuinely affect his game? In my mind, is it not like riding a bike? You get back in the server, give it a map, and you're back to it? Or is this serious lack of form?
No, I think to an extent. To an extent, it's like a bike. I mean, you still obviously know how to play Counter-Strike. Even the principles, if you have played at the top level, you remember them.
I mean, I've seen Jason. He still hits headshots occasionally.
Is it really?
Sometimes.
I make the right decisions. I can't really hit the headshots.
No, but exactly. I think Jason's making the point is that when you have a long time without playing or playing at the top level, is that there is a gap, there is a margin between I know what I'm supposed to do and I'm going to do it automatically. It's like, you have to picture it's like driving your car, right?
Okay.
When you're used to it, you don't have to think about changing the gear, you don't have to think about looking in your mirror, you know that. It's automatically,
Yeah.
Well, when you don't drive a car for so long, it's like maybe you have to think about how
it's
to
a process
change
again.
gear.
I understand.
Those automatic stuff, that can not be so quick when you don't play for a moment.
Okay.
I think the funny conversation around Nothing ringing for this team is we've kind of painted it in a negative light, like, oh, Mousesports has to come in with this guy that they haven't played with. Yeah. And there is this kind of there's this kind of very funny effect where if there's ever going to be an event where it's perfect for Nothing to be your stand-in, it's this one. Because Mousesports doesn't have that attitude player to calm everyone down. Everyone's very reserved. Everyone's very shy on that team. You know, from Stico back to the coach of LMBT, every single person is very, very quiet and calm. And Nothing is that guy who's going to help them, you know, crack a joke to lighten up the tension when the crowd goes nuts. He's going to be that guy who cracks a joke or gets people pumped up to frag and pumped up to play. So that's something they didn't have prior to this, and I think there's certainly an effect, and it's not easy to quantify, but Sunny, he's having an incredible tournament so far. Rops is playing like we've never seen him play before. So all of these players are getting a little bit unleashed, a little bit unlocked with this kind of looser style of no expectations, and perhaps a little bit of a, you know, comedy joke from Nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds silly, and it does sound like we're just kind of, you know, being vague and making sweeping statements. But I mean, from a player's perspective, I do think, I personally, just from when you talk to the players and when you see those certain personalities succeed, I would think there's truth in it, in that having someone to motivate, having someone to pick you up, having someone to kind of give you that extra like, enthusiasm. When Rops wins a 1v2, his idol's patting him on the back. There is something there.
Absolutely. I think you can never downplay the impact of the psychological factors when you're playing. You know, I mean, you have to realize an official game of Counter-Strike is a, how to say, it's a stressing thing, okay?
Yeah.
And you're gonna face hard moments whenever you're playing. You're gonna lose rounds.
Match.
You're not supposed to. You're gonna be down, I don't know, 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds. And your ability to stay focused and stay positive and keep giving energy to the team can make a huge difference, because it's one thing to sit at the computer and shoot some headshots. It's another to give for your team, give communication, motivate your teammates.
Yeah.
That is extremely important. And I think I agree with you. I think Nothing is a very good player to have in the team for that.
Are you listening, random matchmaking teammates that I get put up against? We lose the pistol, and already he's talking
Game's
about...
not over.
No.
Game's not over.
Surrender, let's leave. Screw you.
There's no one less inclined to tilt than Nothing. He is like impossible to tilt, and especially now that he's had this year off, like his entire mindset, when you just talk to him, he just seems so much more carefree, which is really cool. And I think importantly, when you watch him play, when the observer's on him in this game, you'll notice he's not trying to make kind of the star plays. He's not trying to play outside of his abilities.
Sure.
He's just there to hold the angle, to, you know, get his 1 or 2 frags if they come to his spot. And you're exactly right. When you have tough games where you're not getting kills, which is always going to happen. We've seen Rain go 0 for 11 or 0 for 12 out in Australia. Like, you need to be able to contribute in other ways and not just making some kind of a clutch, but even if it's passing on the crucial piece of information in a round.
Well, I have a lot of fun for us now, because we did actually sit down with a camera crew and the 2 aforementioned ex-Cloud9 players. Look who it is. It's Stewie and Nothing. Either sides of the server now, and in Brazil, they lifted the trophy together.
Yeah. They definitely did something like that, but it's a different day today, Alex. We've got Nothing, and we've got Stewie 2K. Oh, dear. Not looking good for you, is it, Jordan? Now, listen, with that being said,
I'd say it's looking pretty great.
Yeah. So, anyway, with that being said, last time you guys were here, you won the trophy, you lifted it together. But today's a different day. Jordan, how's this going to go down?
You're right, it is a different day, but one thing's the same. I'm still going to make some Brazilian fans upset. I'm sorry, guys. I love you. Obrigado. Thank you for being here. Make some noise. Get as loud as you want. I'm looking forward to it.
Stu, he really doesn't know about pandering to the crowd, does he?
Of course not. Last time in Brazil, it was a little disappointment. Come on, let's go, Brazil. Caralho, let's go!
Woo! The heat. Stewie, a matchup of the ages right here, just a heavyweight bout between 2 little weights. Let's talk a little bit about what you're preparing here.
We're just gonna play our own game. It's a little special for me since I'm playing against Jordan. It's been a while since I played against him. It's gonna be a good game. I wish nothing but the best for him. Hope he shows up so we can have a good game.
Absolutely, Brazil, I think you're just about ready for this. You two shake hands, and let's get it on, Alex.
Oh, I couldn't stop providing a running commentary for that one. Sorry, I didn't know my microphone was live, but that's fantastic. I love that. Stewie and Jordan, good friends, now separated on either ends of the stage, playing Counter-Strike against one another for probably one of the few times in their careers. I don't think that's happened too often.
Yeah, probably
outside
not.
Of a pug.
Because Stewie's, I mean, you have to remember Stewie's first professional team coming out of like an ESCA main squad was Cloud9 with Nothing. So that was the start of his career. That's a bit of a luxury. Start pretty high up the run.
Yeah, he really did jump into the deep end.
Yeah.
Now let's start talking maps, and I'm afraid I don't actually have anything to go by here. So this is where I turn to my analyst, I guess, as I should, and ask, you know, what's the read here? What are we expecting to see, Maniac, from the Mousesports roster versus SK Gaming?
Well, to be fair, looking at the videos during the tournament, I think Mousesports are kind of hard to read. First off, they are not here with the full team. That might changed the map that they're usually able to play. On the side of SK, they've been vetoing always the same maps. They've been vetoing Nuke as a first map, Mirage as a second.
Okay.
So I would say going to the... well, okay, that's Nuke again.
Caught you off guard. Yeah, so, I mean, those aren't too surprising of bans, and obviously SK, they're going to feel very confident on Dust 2. We know they like that map, and they looked good on it the other day.
We talked about this, I think it was actually you, Maniac, who you brought it up before it revealed yesterday that SK could be trying to make Dust 2 their new home, and already we see it pick first place. Yeah, absolutely. I think for them that would be incredibly comfortable to have one of these maps, that you can pick in the best of 3, and that's a 1-0 straight for you. Oh, okay.
Train pick from Mousesports. That is interesting.
Have we seen them play with nothing? Yes,
they did play Train the other day, and that was one where he gave the interview. He's just like, they have some very simple strategies that I can get involved in, and that was kind of his interview. Is that Mousesports is keeping things very, very simple, and you can notice it on Train. They were doing a lot of more grouped up strategies. They weren't spreading out too much across the map and playing for the advantages. It was a very good game.
16-5. Actually, I managed to find the score in the end. Yeah, 16-5 versus Team Liquid. Yeah, it was, and they had an 11 rounds on T side. I remember this now.
Yes.
It was this incredible T side Train performance from Mousesports as a group, as you already have highlighted. So let's keep going. Let's find out where we end up. We have Mirage and Cat. Every time I do this, I start listing the maps left, and they're the ones that get taken away.
Listen, we got that Inferno third map. That's all you can really ask for in a veto phase.
I'm not complaining.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Inferno third map historically delivers the very best, the most hype you can ask for, but we're not necessarily guaranteed to get there. I don't know what we're going to see from SK. I don't know what we're going to see from Mousesports. And bearing in mind, Dust 2 isn't necessarily a bad map for Mouse. I've seen them play it a couple of times now, and they look pretty damn good on it. I'm going to dig up those results, Jason, while you move your mouth.
I mean, you have to think that Mousesports, I mean, the way I look at this match is SK is going to be the underdog in pretty much most of the situations, if not all the situations. They are the team that you don't expect to necessarily win because of, being stepped down after the roster change. Mousesports has looked good. So, I mean, this is something where I think on Dust 2, SK absolutely have to take that. That's got to be their map, and it's not going to be easy. We saw Chris J with an incredible op, and we'll see what SK can bring to the table. They need to find something that they haven't shown us quite yet in this event.
I found their Dust 2 performances so far, so I'll just read them out for you, so the guys at home. We did have their first debut on Dust 2 was at Sydney, as for many teams it was. It went down 16-9 to G2, they picked up the win, and it's just Astralis and Liquid they've fallen to, one of which was over in Dallas.
Don't forget as well, Train for SK is a map where they had that historic run on it, where they were dominant, and that was a long time ago. I'm not referencing it for any kind of thing like that, but just think about the fact that you have Fallen with an AWP, and if Fallen is having one of his games on Train with the AWP, that CT side is going to be a lockdown. That T side is going to be very dangerous. He's going to be able to get picks. So that is going to be something you need to watch out for, because if SK do take that first map, they've got a shot on Train, certainly.
No, absolutely, and I want to bounce back on this Fallen comment, because I honestly think he's the X factor in this match coming here. At the moment for SK, Coldzera is being his own Coldzera, which is probably somewhere between the Sun and whatever star there is up there. He's being astronomical, and that is always the case. That's one of the luxury of having Coldzera. Stewie is finding his form. We've stated that. That is a very good sign for SK. But I think to go to the final, to go to the trophy, they need the bad Fallen, the librarian.
Yeah, we want to bring, well, it won't be a librarian, it'll be more of a barbarian. He's going to absolutely slaughter them if he does show up.
The loudest library I've ever heard.
It's going to be a very loud library, a concert perhaps more than a library. But either way, you know what time it is. I've just got my smartphone out because I'm going to be recording this whole thing. It's the time for the walkouts. It's time to get SK Gaming and Mousesports onto the stage.
Senhoras e senhores, é chegado o momento que vocês esperavam. Recebam, primeiramente, a equipe da Mousesports. Hoje a Mousesports tem dois obstáculos, a SK Gaming e a torcida no Mineirinho.
That's Mousesports there, walking out to a hostile crowd. And I'm afraid you know what's coming next. Absolutely insane, SK Gaming. every single time they are greeted by this pack of warriors in the crowd. 10,000 of them filling in Belo Horizonte. And the battle cry is sounded. But they have the pressure now, and it's not often talked about, you know, when we talk about the pressure applied and, of course, the pleasure of playing in front of a home crowd. I can't help but feel they may be trying to do too much. It's a trap you could fall into here, Jason, where you want to make this team proud. You want to make this 10,000 fans proud. And I can't help but feel that will influence your gameplay. You will try to save the round perhaps more than you should.
I think the legacy that SK built and the experience they have has already made this crowd proud. They're just happy to be cheering on their team here. And I think that's the kind of mindset that SK is going to come in with. Right. These guys know they've played on major stadiums. They've played in arenas in Poland. They've played everywhere across the world. They played in front of a hostile crowd in Denmark against Astralis. We're able to beat them as well. This team is not going to be uncomfortable by the fact that they're playing in front of their own crowd. Mousesports, Mike.
I'm going to just let them sing. I don't think we need to talk. Wow. That is a sight for sore eyes. Mousesports versus SK Gaming. Yes, indeed. The songs are going to be important. It does feel like I'm watching a football match. It does feel very World Cup-esque. I can see a glisten in your eye, Maniac, when you see it.
I'm going to be honest, it makes me a little bit emotional. You know, for me, Counter-Strike has been part of my life probably for more years that I've been, you know, not without Counter-Strike. And to see this passion from people shouting, screaming, that, I mean, it's amazing.
It's beautiful.
It is. It's really beautiful. There's no other way to put it.
All these big arenas.
So many crowds have blown us away across the Counter-Strike landscape. We had Copenhagen, madness there, Sydney, supporting the Renegades. We had Dallas as well, all not too long ago. And now we find ourselves here in Brazil as SK Gaming take to the stage. Counter-Strike does certainly deliver when we get a stadium and we get matchups like this. Now to focus on exactly how it goes down, albeit briefly, Mousesports of SK jumping into Dust 2. This was SK's pick. This is where the Brazilians wanted to start this battle, start this war. And I want to understand how it's going to be going down. Now, when you look at the tools available to SK, is this a recipe for success here in Dust 2?
Absolutely. I mean, they have the aggressive players. You have guys like Sui, you have guys like Fur who like to push up and be aggressive on a map like Dust 2. If there's quiet in the mid-round, you can push out long, you can push out towards the B hulls, you can do a lot of different things. You can straight up be aggressive in mid, as I'm sure we'll see Fur do. It's an AWPer's paradise. They've got Fallen. We've seen Coldzera use the second AWP. We know Stewie can do a second AWP as well. I mean, there's a lot of things on this map that SK can lean towards, and I think a lot of it's going to come down to these guys have always built their game off mid-round success and mid-round calling and taking advantages of the successes that they find earlier. This is a map where you can really pick apart defenses.
Pick them apart one by one.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think there are so many different ways that you can start the round on Dust 2 ST. You can either take long very fast, you can establish domination over short, and then you can execute on to A, you can also go out to middle, go to the B split. There are many, many possibilities, and also many possibilities for individual actions to pop up, and SK have the players for it.
And I do want to actually just delve a little deeper into something you just said. So on the CT side, I've heard in passing from a variety of different analysts saying that it's a gamble. You have to choose where you are going to defend on A, as in you can't really distribute your defenders between long and short equally. I mean, is that something that you've considered?
Yeah, absolutely, and I think this is where the notion of momentum kind of comes from, because it's a type of chess game, in my opinion. It is something along the line of, okay, we have blocked them trying to take long very fast, so we can afford maybe to send only one defender there, be stronger in the middle, or we stop them long, they're probably going to build off short.
So it's like smoke and mirrors. You want to try and make it feel like you're everywhere.
The idea is that you have the stronger part of your defense is where the attack is going to come. But when you're on the losing end of the stick, then that can be very tricky.
We're nearly there, Jason.
Yeah, I mean, just to build off what Maniac just said, I think that mid to B split is always the most intimidating thing. Across Counter-Strike, it's one of the most intimidating attacks you can go against. One wrong move and you're out of it. So, I mean, I think that's going to be a big reliance. Both of these teams have to be able to defend that.
All right then, Brazil, you know what time it is. SK Gaming stepping into the server once more. Mousesports to take them on. ESL One comes alive. Let's get into it. Let's rumble. Mousesports taking on SK.
This is absolutely incredible, Tom. We're going to be getting into this one now.
Oh my God.
And the crowd is already roaring. SK over on that T side. They've got utility on Cold Zera and Fallen. It's Dust 2, a map that they've shown their hand on many a time. The crowd's behind them. Chris J already pushing up through mid. And it's a slow start. They're trying to rally the crowd behind them. You know, they want to set the pace, Tom. They're going to let Mousesports just stew in this reaction from the crowd for a bit. Now, Chris J has spotted out one. He's going to start to back away. Now, they know that he was aggressive in mid. He's going to have to give it up. They don't manage to find him. And now they're going to turn their attention back towards long.
Yeah, it does definitely look like we've got more of a mid-control taken at the moment by Mousesports, but it does leave Steeko with an awful lot to do if they do go pushing towards this site. Now, they've gathered up the P250 for Stewie just to make sure they have that added bit of range if they do go for the push. And here we go. Steeko, he spotted the push. He's just looking to fall back and defend it. Sonny's managed to find the lurker of Fur already at the beginning of this one, but this is where the push comes in. And Bolts is going to kick things off with an entry onto the A site. Bombs should be comfortably planted. And Mousesports, well, they're already looking to try and get back in. Chris J, he's found one very quickly indeed.
Yeah, SK going to go a man down. They even lose out. Bolts and Fallen both fall. It is Cold Zera left in a 1v4, but if any man could get the job done, it would be Cold. Oh my goodness, 2 kills and more pushing into him. He does get toppled finally. Nothing's going to be there to pick it up. Valiant effort. You could feel the intensity. The pistol round's worth so much in these series. It is going to be Mousesports to pick it up. Double kill from nothing. He's going to be showing up early on here on Dust. When speaking in an interview, I think it was Steeko saying how he's really helped the squad coming in, made them think more positively. They've been more confident in the duels that they take, and they've been taking a much more simplistic approach. Dust 2 definitely going to lend itself to that sort of play style. And well, SK, you love to see it. They're going to go with a tactical purchase here. The AK out on Stewie, everyone else force buying what they can. All's going to have the scout.
Hello. He has hit someone.
Yeah, he even managed to tag Rops in through Furt. Some damage done back in response. SK waiting to see if Fallen can open anything up over here in mid.
He broke the golden rule. Never cross over a man trying to take a shot down middle. He's actually hit another tag as well. Chris J getting lowered, and well, the CZs will become deadlier by the second with every scout shot that's hit. And they still don't actually know that Stewie has that AK-47 in play, so this is not a safe scenario for Mousesports by any stretch. But Chris J, I think he's one of the dons of the scout. I think he's one of the OGs. I think for me it's him, MBK, players who can definitely pick this weapon up and do damage with it. Carrigan showed us earlier in the day as well what can be done, but the T's are managing to pick up some damage. Stewie went down. He was the man with the AK initially, and it is falling more and more. Bolts now retrieving it, manages to find one. Looking for a second, finds it as well. But both players are so low for SK. Surely there's no way they can pull this out.
Yeah, Rups is flanking around from behind. Nothing could get caught off guard at long. He's going to catch the timing to spot out Furt. Rups coming in from behind. He could be the man to seal their fate. The flash goes high. Oh, nothing's going to mop up both frags. He's padding those stats early on. Of course, there's so much we can talk about here, Tom. Of course, the last time that we saw nothing in Stewie on this stage, they actually best SK as Cloud9 here for the ESL Pro League Season 4 finals. Now they're back again, but Stewie, well, he's gone enjoying the Brazilians. Nothing, still looking to try and ruin their day. It's quite the storyline that we can look into as this match continues. But SK, they're going to kick things off in this round with a rushing towards the B-bomb side by the looks of things. Sonny already down in the lower tunnels, and he's just going to hold on up. He hears the footsteps early on. Now they've since slowed right down. They're going to go walking his way.
Oh, I think they might know. He's still going to find himself a couple of kills. It is at least Fallen to trade things out. Of course, only an SMG loss, not anything too hefty for SK Gaming to play. But they have managed to retrieve a smoke, but realistically, getting onto one of these sites, you have to get yourself a kill or two. It's very, very difficult. Yes, there's normally gambles played by the CT side. Maybe if there was some sort of long take, then you could expect some sort of sneaky bomb plan on A, but chances are Mousesports are just going to play in a default here. They don't want to allow any extra money to go into the hands of SK. as we do know that there will be a buy coming up after this round. Unlikely to see an AWP. I don't know how much money Fallen has. Actually, that might help. He has got himself one with the SMG, and still standing, in fact. They don't want to lose too many more. In fact, Bolts has managed to find one with the CZ. This is getting a little bit too close for comfort now for Mousesports, as the bomb actually is going to go down. I was saying very, very unlikely, but, well, they've managed it.
Now the question becomes, can they manage anything more? Fallen tucked away. Bolts has the scout down in the pit, and the bomb is going to be planted for him. There is a smoke up on Rops. That incendiary does force Fallen out into the open, and now Bolts, the second they get into the bomb site, that smoke is going to go down. It's not going to be an easy feat to topple either one of these players. He tags up Nothing. Smoke's on the bomb. Nothing's going to be the man on the defuse, and Rops is able to find him. Mousesports, convincing stop. Finding the pistol, converting the two anti-ecos as well, something that so many teams have struggled with. As we are still in that pre-CZ nerf build. But now the buy comes in for SK. Falling going to be able to don that AWP early on, courtesy of that bomb plant in the previous round.
Yeah, and the kill he got with the SMG as well. Like, that round was hugely successful for SK. Now, a man who, obviously, previously in game leader, there's been a lot of changes at SK recently. He's been given a much more, well, seemingly aggressive and free-flowing role. He looked so good yesterday when he was playing with that AWP. So I'm hoping we get a little bit more of that Fallen, because otherwise, well, he's called the librarian, but if it goes too much further like this, I think Mousesports might be making this place a library.
Yeah, indeed. Well, making their way in over here towards mid early on. You can see Chris J's been boosted up on the short position. He's looking diligently, standing on the head of Stiko. He's going to get tagged down, spotted out by coldzera. The boost doesn't prevail. SK. They've been able to get control of mid. Done it pretty cleanly as well. Haven't taken any damage, haven't had to expel too much utility for it. And now you can see Bolt starting to aggress in through long as well. He is going to go toe-to-toe with Stiko in this position.
Of course, this sort of buy for Mousesports early on, fairly expensive one. The double AWP setup thrown straight in what is, well, sort of the first real buy round. Obviously, they got a little bit of a bonus. Stiko looking around the corner, but Bolts expects it, finds himself the opener. Chris J already tagged, is going to be ready, looking for that trade. In fact, just decides to expend a little bit of utility. The problem is now, just look at the clock. 25 seconds, and that bomb wants to go through long. This really could be a problem for SK Gaming.
Yeah, they got to get a move on, Tom. They got Chris J to get past. That's not going to be easy as he's posted up with the AWP. Players coming in from long, and Chris J into the Molotov. He's forced. Bolt's going to find him. That bomb has to make it across, and Sunny's going to manage one. coldzera trades, but there's no time to get the bomb down. It's heartbreak as SK. They come close. It is going to get toppled by Chris J and Sunny. They managed to save two rifles out of it. Bolts and Stewie staying alive.
That was actually brilliant utility usage as well from Chris J. Like, using the incendiary, he could have easily just held the angle with the AWP, used the incendiary, then also fades away and throws down a smoke. And the fact is, if there's no smoke there, he's dead within seconds. Like, he would have just died to the people pushing through long. The fact is, it took them a few extra seconds to kill him, and, well, think about how that round went down. If 2 or 3 seconds are on the clock for SK Gaming, they get the bomb down, they're in a 2v2. I would even bet that they'd win the round. So, yeah. Brilliant work from Chris early on. He, again, has been another player that for Mousesports has been a standout alongside Rops, alongside Sunny. It really is those sort of core members showing us what they can do. But, well, then again, I can't really say that Nothing as the stand-in has been any sort of bad performance, especially considering just thrown into the team at the sort of last second.
Yeah, I mean, it'd been ages since he'd even last played competitively, maybe doing some work in the analyst side of things, so it's always impressive to see that sort of resurgence from him. This round, SK, they managed to go for a buy, and there we go, that's what they need. The crowd rallying behind them. It got a little bit quiet for a minute. I think very emotional right now up on that stage, Tom. It's emotional enough for me just standing here. Chris J, that is a shot and a half. He's just going to decapitate Bolts. He's immediately hushed the audience. Thousands of Brazilian fans on looking as SK once again lose another man early on. Now fighting at a man deficit. Stiko even going aggressive in through long. Has so much information on the back of this. SK desperate to find something. Chris J looks to be the next point of contact. He holds the angle, finds that shot on a Fur. Stewie's going to manage the trade. And now they look to just blitz their way in towards this A bomb site. Sonny's all that stands between them and getting this bomb down. And coldzera, he's going to spring to life with the AWP, 3-on-3, as that bomb goes down inside of the A bomb site.
Yeah, they've managed to make this one work. The fact is, can the retake come in? They don't have a huge amount of utility. Got a couple of smokes. T's are left with next to nothing to defend. It's going to be more down to just their aim to hold things off. But the CT side really are taking their time here, almost wondering if they are just going to head in for a save. Of course, they took a lot of damage in the previous round. And while SK, they've made it onto the scoreboard on their T side. They're going to kick things off and try and break back. And that was actually a pretty important round for them, because although the loss bonus has started to build up, they were sort of getting into a position where they had like sort of weird buys coming in. Fallen actually going to go on a little bit of a hunt, and removing some of these weapons really could be costly for either side, in fact. So nothing actually going to remove one. Fallen is going to be there to trade things back, and well, it means that both teams going into the next round are actually going to have some detriments. Obviously, the CT side, I feel, will come out a little bit worse for wear.
That definitely looks to be the case. As this buy comes in, it's pretty scrappy to say the very least, Tom. They get what they can. Neither team's economy is in a spot now where they can sustain a loss. So this is a very, very crucial round. Again, Chris J, he's been so good at finding these openers, and that's really the transition we see with Oscar not being here. He's usually the man who dons that AWP as the primary, usually the man who finds the openers. Chris J used to be the primary AWPer if you think back, and he's very much been able to roll back the years, go back to that mantle. Now Fallen gonna try and take this fight down in mid. There is nothing there. And I mean that in the sense of the man himself. He holds the angle close with the CZ. The oversmoke for CT. A B split could very much be on the cards. You see the positioning of Stewie, the bomb. Over in mid as well, could duck up through the tunnels. Right now, Mousesports aren't giving anything up. Fallen, he anticipates that they're nearby. Peeking into it, Rock's gonna win the fight. What a shot to land. Manify's going to get extended that much further, and it's Bolts once again to try and answer back, but he gets shut down, leaving this on Stewie and Fur. And they can't get into this bomb site. Fur's left in a 1v5.
Yeah, worst case scenario position for Fur, and nothing even going to pick up that AWP as well. It seems like everybody can AWP at the moment on that Mousesports side, and that is not what we wanted to see for SK Gaming. That's not what this crowd was wanting. A straight reset the second SK managed to get themselves on the board. And you have to note that that buy in the last round was actually sort of a risky force, because they saved themselves a couple of guns and they wanted to try and break into things. That is an interesting highlight clip.
They were just like, play the one where Chris J's killing the Brazilian team, and then it's, oh, whoops, oh, wrong one. But that's fine. Here we go. SK, they've gone for the force. It's risky, because a loss here does mean they're onto an eco in the next, and effectively you kind of lend Mousesports a 7-1 scoreline at that point in time, and that is a very, very big deficit to try and come back from. Will they expect Sonny, who's aggressive on short? They do indeed. They've tagged him up. 14 HP to his name. He's going to try and back away, but he does have support from Stiko, who's swift to execute Fur. This is not the debut that SK were wanting up on stage in front of the home crowd in this semi-final. coldzera, they're trying to tell you something, Cold. He's going to flash himself in. Stiko holds down the angle, does manage to burst, but so many bodies being thrown his way. And that's enough for coldzera and Fallen to find two between them. Say bomb site has proved fruitful in the past. Chris J gonna have to back off. So they will be allowed to get this bomb down, Tom, leaving them in a 3-on-3.
Yeah, again, they've pushed in with not too much, but they've come out with a couple of guns. We're not going to see pushback in. Rops yet to actually die in this map. And while CT side with the majority of their aggression coming in through short jump down from Fallen though, and he removes Chris J. It's just going to leave nothing, and Rops stuck behind this smoke. The time's starting to tick, and by the looks of it, they're just going to hold on to their weaponry once again. It will be a second round on the board for SK. The interesting factor is, can they take either of these guns away? They can leave Mousesports with very little. The problem is, they're also in a similar scenario.
They most certainly are. That's not going to stop nothing, though, from dispatching of Bolts. If they can save these two rifles, the bar is possible in this round. It's going to be a second for SK. And that's what Mousesports have to go up against every single time. You know, Mousesports might be in the lead right now, they might be looking good, but every time SK get around, there's thousands of voices rallying behind them to get them hyped up, to get them in the game.
I think this may be my favorite place to stand ever.
Yeah, I could definitely see that, Tom.
Just looking out into
It's quite
crowd.
the emotional experience being here, isn't it? I mean, everyone so passionate about this team. There's so much history that we could go into. I mean, some of these guys have been playing CS longer than I've been alive. So, you know, there's always that. Here's coldzera opening up. He's going to find the frag on a Chris J. And they just keep on going. Sonny not able to stand the test of time. That it's Spur to prevail, and now Stewie turns his attention back towards mid. I'm curious if Mousesports even try going for this one. Stewie! They call it the smoke criminal. There's a frag through the top of it. There is still nothing down in mid. His ex-teammate, obviously. The last time they were here in Brazil, they fought together, and now locked in a standoff. We'll see who does prevail.
Yeah, this is all just come down to trying to save these weapons, but it doesn't seem like SK want to allow that. They now know where Stiko is, and they should also know that there's a very high chance that Mousesports won't be able to buy into the next round, especially if they just remove every single weapon available to them. Stiko, he is going to make things more costly though, and just remember, SK, they're not like running away with a huge bank. This isn't a huge streak of rounds for them either, so it's important that they keep weapons, but they do remove everything from Mousesports now. There isn't going to be an available buy for Mousesports going into this next round.
There is not. This is SK's first real chance to start to string some rounds together and get closer to equalizing things out here with Mousesports. It was a good start from them early on, but in the last few rounds, SK have started to find their footing. They've hit the ground running. coldzera going to be bringing out the MAC-10, looking to try and make some money in this round. And SK, they are going to be keeping an eye on long. Mousesports with 5 players here about to go for some sort of aggressive push. You have Bolts waiting back to keep an eye on this very area of the map. He's going to have a lot of bodies coming his way, but the second he gets that information, they can just run with that bomb into the B bomb site.
But look where it is. That's the only interesting thing, because it's in Suicide. Like it's sort of in one of those places where you don't really want it to be, but just look at the amount of damage. Bolts just farming up some frags, and we've got ourselves an ace already. Yeah, I can barely hit myself at the moment. An eco ace for Bolts. Our first one in this series, and I'm hoping it's the first of many. We've already seen a couple from the Mousesports side when we casted them earlier in the tournament, but SK have got one of their own.
Indeed they do. It might only be an eco ace, but it's going to be something to get that confidence built up. The crowd rallying behind them. Now we head into round number 10. There is the buy on the cards for Mousesports. So once again, SK going to get tested, but they look to switch the pace up with a fast play in towards this B-bomb site. There's nothing in rocks, and they go charging on through. Nothing splashed up the angle. Stewie on the entry. Now it falls to nothing to try and make a stand. He's going to go down. And locked down a B in a 3-on-3 at this point. Chris J down in CT might just consider saving. A lot of this going to come down to if this flank from Stiko is successful, and there's that frag on a Bolt. So now things become interesting. It falls to the 2-on-2. There's still utility up for either side. The smoke goes down in the double doors. And Fur's now tasked with trying to keep an eye on the window. Has coldzera over on Car, but he's tagged low. The bomb ticking down. He just misses the timing on a Chris J. He tries to go back for it. Now it's cold. 22 HP. 3 players to find. It's not going to happen. Stiko able to deal with him on the flank, and Mousesports, good recovery there in the 3-on-3 to find themselves a 6th round.
Yeah, a very strong retake on a site that arguably the most difficult in the game to actually retake. I do think the aggression from Bolts is actually what causes that. He's trying to find himself the kill that gives them the round. Instead, it's somewhat the one that gives them away the round, because obviously coldzera already low in the corner, couldn't really expect too much from him. Got the two Americans on screen, currently Jordan leading the way. But we've already seen that Stewie can very easily just win a round on his own. We saw it to end the game yesterday. Let's see if there's anything more of that. Both teams back in with a buy. Cold has been excellent at finding these entries onto short so far, but actually there's a double stack over towards the car, which could be a little bit of a surprise for anybody looking to face that way. Although actually neither of them looking towards short. They've got to be a bit careful if Cold comes a-looking. It seems like they are going to switch things up. But these are the sort of gambles that everybody is talking about. Like, this leaves mid fairly open, like one player really watching it alone. It also leaves short open as well. Like, right now, anybody could just walk straight onto the A site and they would be completely unaware. So this map does come down to a lot of risks. The fact is, so far, so good from the CT side. They are going to send one man back towards the site. That will be Sunny. And it looks like SK are getting ready for this push on towards A.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to try the run boost in. They're going to try and go for it now. Doesn't exactly go as planned. Stewie's been able to get by, but are they going to be ready for the man? Who currently sits in Goose. That's Sunny. They've got no idea. Sunny could do it all. Stewie falls, and Colterra's got no clue. The bomb gets dropped, and it falls into CT. That couldn't be more disastrous for SK. You notice those cheers have died down. That's because that bomb is in an awful spot.
Oh, it's going to burn him. It is going to burn him. Sunny's still in the corner, but somehow he's still alive. Actually, Chris J is going to help him out. Fallen will at least be able to get one back, but the fact is it makes absolutely no difference. 15 seconds left on the clock. There's no way they're getting that bomb down, or at least picking it up. They're actually just going to try and get themselves the kills, but I don't think that's going to be happening either. Fallen with 7 seconds left is just going to try and peek in. He needs them to almost line up for there to be any hope here, and he does not want to die after that timer. He won't. He takes down Stiko and at least makes things costly, and they should be able to get themselves a buy. In fact, yeah, Fallen could drop one for Stewie. Everybody else can buy AKs and armor, so it's not the worst case, and they do make things very, very costly for Mousesports. Only one man survives.
Yeah, that's going to have pretty big implications. Now, SK, they're going to be going for this force buy here. You can see Fallen has dropped an AK over to Bolts. They have enough money to go for it. Meanwhile, on the Mousesports side, the buy will come through, but they're going to be a little bit limited in terms of the utility they can get. You might have to see someone like Stiko take a hit in terms of the firepower, as he so often does, being in that support role within this team. It's not all said and done yet. The economy game still kind of the ultimate decider as to who wins out this half. And a lot of that now going to come into play in this round. This is an important one, Tom.
Yeah, again, another big, big round in the half. That's why we have seen the pause actually called in. We are going to have that AWP into the hands of Fallen, who's actually heading over towards the B site. The man meeting him will be Rops, and we're going to see some aggression all across the map. Look at this. This is much faster, actually, from SK. They're running straight out into middle. They're looking to just try and split straight on towards the site. Rops and Nothing are going to have a lot to do here, but actually Rops, he manages that first kill. A second as well. Rops going huge with a triple. Cold will finally take him down, but it doesn't seem to matter. He has to do it all. 1v3, and it's not going to happen.
8th round for Mouse. Fantastic stuff there from Rops, as you pointed out.
He's just a tank. He's just an absolute tank to just keep switching between different positions.
The talent there, I think, comes as well from his ability. You know, he's so young, and we often see kind of, it's on the stage where the players at a younger age start to fall down, and especially in an environment like this, where literally the whole crowd, thousands of people are rallied against you almost, right? And he's still not letting the pressure get to him. He looks so composed there, facing off against 3 of the best players in the world. He makes it look easy. So,
they don't call him cool for nothing. Let's just put it that way.
That is very, very true, Tom. A surname has never stood the test of time as well as Rops is. Sunny and Nothing, both over in mid. Interesting enough, there's only one man on the A-bomb site right now, and that's going to be Stiko. Even then, he's all the way down Catwalk. That's something to keep an eye on. See if Bolts can gain any leverage over here towards Long. They're doing the damage over here in mid. Fur with his Deagle. Proficient as ever with this weapon. Someone there once again. He has an inkling.
Yeah, there's 3 players in mid though, so
yeah, it might be a little bit more than he bargained for.
Gonna force him off that headshot angle as well. That's pretty much the deadliest angle there is for any CTs peeking in. You don't want to go anywhere near that angle. But here we go. This is what we're talking about. Not too much defense in terms of this A site, and that's exactly where Mousesports may need their defenses. There's 4 players currently heading in towards Long. They've left Cold Zero to try and hold off any sort of rotations. With 30 seconds left, Nothing will be standing in their way, holding the angle, already looking for the pre-fire, finds two, a third, and a fourth for nothing as well. Completely shuts down the push. Nothing for SK. And it's going to be 9-4 now in favor of Mousesports. They are looking good over on this CT side. A few rounds to sort of get the crowd going, but it seems like SK, well, they haven't really got going so far in this map.
Yeah, they most certainly haven't. I mean, they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Nothing kind of trying to prove them wrong in that fact. It's very much, you know, in relation to the kind of standoff between him and Stewie that we keep talking about. It's Stewie kind of that, the child of CSGO, right? Whereas nothing coming, of course, from the titles before. It's a battle of the ages going on right now. Stiko going to be holding his ground over here at long. Once again, the aggression coming through. There is bolts lying on the other side. Chris J's holding short aggressive. He's going to go peeking into it. There are 3 players there. Just a question of who finds who. They spam on through. Chris J, what a pre-fire. He's going to go back for more. Might come to regret it as he hops on down. Tagged up now, has to rely on Sunny. The smoke comes through, and that's enough to bail him out. SK have lost for very early on in this round, and now they're forced to try and readjust, being a man down.
Yeah, the biggest problem that they've had as well is just shutting down Chris J, because the fact is if they don't kill him off early, he'll just switch up his position and probably catch them again. Speaking of catching things, Fallen really did catch that nade down to just 34 HP. They have been falling back towards this short position an awful lot. They sort of tried B once, got wrecked by rocks, and then just decided, nah, we're not going to do that again. And it seems like just in terms of utility, Mousesports are more than ready. Look at this, 25 seconds left. They still have smokes down, Sunny on the site, Chris J holding the cross. This should be a no-go, but actually, Stewie does find one. At least an opener, but here it's Sunny to just shut things down again. It isn't happening at all for SK Gaming. They're leaving it late. And the fact is, at the moment, Mousesports are leaving them with no chance.
Yeah, positively radiant performance there from Sunny. The shining star of this team, it feels like, this event, although you could definitely actually hilariously make the argument for nothing in Chris J to be amongst that.
I don't think there's been a weak player.
There definitely hasn't, no.
I think that's something that you have to mention, considering they're missing one of their players. The fact that nobody seems to be just like having a poor performance. Obviously, you can talk about the fact not that much pressure on them, but here we go, once again. Faster plays. Looking to try and come in, and Chris J, he's found that opener again. Can Fallen shut him down? Yes, he can. Now, it's important in these sort of rounds especially because they already had limitations when it came to weaponry. If Fallen can pick up an AWP, this buy really doesn't look so bad anymore, other than, of course, the missing utility. But he's going to die before he can do anything more. Sunny catches him in mid for desperately looking for a trade, and even nothing peeking into bolts. You wonder who's the guy who's not been playing for a while. I'll be honest, because it doesn't look like nothing at the moment. Stiko now making aggressive plays. Stewie trying to do what Stewie does best, but he needs to find 4.
Yeah, this is not an easy feat, but Stewie looking to try and make it possible. Do you believe in Stewie? He spots out Stiko. There's the first man down. They know where he is now. You can see nothing aggressing towards long, and this is it. Stewie, knife out, runs into nothing, and nothing going to find him. Mousesports, an 11th round to win out this half in a very, very dominant fashion. SK on the ropes. Going to need the pistol round here in this second half if they want to stand a chance of coming back into this one. We saw a strong performance early on. You know, they lose the pistol, they lose the Anticos, then they pick up that one force fire round, and then they find a bit of success on the back of it. Can their CT side see them through, or are Mousesports going to look to make this a decisive victory in map number 1, Tom?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, we were looking at a 5-4 scoreline, and then Mousesports just turned it on, won 6 rounds in a row. And, well, pretty much brought that half to an end in style. Now this pistol becomes crucial. Of course, this is the map pick of SK. This is a map that they've been looking to try and make their home turf. And that's something we haven't really seen from SK recently. We talk about home maps in the past. We talk about Overpass. Mirage was a map that you pretty much, at stages, could even have just called Brazilian. You didn't want to go there. Now they're trying to make that Dust 2, but at the moment, Mousesports are saying, Not today.
Well, the phones are out in the arena. They're rallying behind SK. It's unbelievable scenes right now, and Volts from behind the car to try and do this home crowd proud. We saw Nap earlier on in the same position work some magic with the USP, but it doesn't work out so well for Volts. They're going to keep charging up through long. They do have a smoke for the cross. That goes down, and Flash goes through. That allows Chris J to make it across with the bomb in tow. Coldzera even going to get glocked down. Again, to try and boost up Burr. He could deny the bomb plumb and miss shots, and Chris J certainly not missing anything right now. Ball and falls as well. Chris J on 3. It is just Coldzera back against the wall, and this time he can't do anything. Mousesports going to win the pistol. Those phone lights that were on just a minute ago to try and get SK pumped up have gone out, and
there's about 7 left.
Well, a very literal metaphor, perhaps, but
Were you trying to say it's lights out for SK?
Yeah, or you know, just kind of the spark starting to die down a bit. SK going for a force once again. Mousesports have looked clinical, and you know, I keep kind of referencing it, but in that interview with Stiko, he mentioned how playing with nothing has given them the confidence to play roles they wouldn't normally play, do things they wouldn't normally do. And that certainly stands to look true right now. They go rushing in towards this B bomb site, so much confidence on them. And already SK looking to save.
Well, yeah, that is one thing when I sort of think of Mousesports and think of sort of vocal characters. I don't really think of anybody. Like, Oscar was definitely not there for his sort of like team talks and pumping them up. And when you have a crowd completely against you, you want someone like nothing around. You want someone who's going to sort of pump you up, to sort of show you, okay, it doesn't matter. I've been here before. I've beaten them before, in Brazil as well. He is pretty much the perfect guy to have stand in. And, well, the fact that he's also fragging like mad definitely helps them out significantly. But this is pretty much now a backs against the wall scenario for SK Game. And they're saving what they've got. It's going to be 13-4. Now, I'm hoping they don't invest too much into this next round. I could definitely understand why they would, but at least like to see some sort of buy on their CT side. Fallen was already saving a little bit of money for the AWP. But the fact is, even still, Mousesports get themselves a flawless round. They don't lose any players. They can build up economy themselves. And it's not like they're going to be fearful in the buy rounds at the moment, because there's barely been any going the way of the Brazilians.
Yeah, I mean, this is where the emotions are really going to get to you, right? You're on stage in front of your home crowd, something that you don't get to do all that often. And last time they were here, they couldn't provide the win for the Brazilian crowd. Of course, they came second this time. Going out in the semis, that would be heartbreaking for SK. And all that's going to be playing on their minds. They've saved up a few weapons from that previous round. Some armor on Fur, Bolts and Coldzera, some flashes for Fallen. They're going to rely on him to make a flashy play. Long control taken very, very early on by Mousesports. They're just going to start to concede this, maybe give up some ground, leaving a player here to keep an eye on things.
Wow. Much slower round, of course, from Mousesports. They know that there is a lot less danger than what they've had in a lot of the previous. Plenty of utility being expended towards Stewie, who's just going to try and lurk around those doors. They are going to have a bit of a push coming in from him. Missed shot from Rops. Not something I've had to say too often in this match. And the clock is starting to tick a little bit. 40 seconds left as Nothing now starts to make his move. Now, this is where the stack currently lies for SK, but he's going to look to try and dismantle it. Spots out a second as the rest of the team actually do look to push in here. There's a chance, but while that chance dwindles, Fallen going to be the only one left here. And Fur looking to try and just rotate back in. It's already looking like a 14th is locked in for Mousesports. And well, it doesn't seem like there's anything Fur can do about it.
Yeah, he's got 12 bullets left. He's going to have to back away. 1v4 not happening anytime soon. Mousesports arriving at a 14th round on one of the maps that SK have been trying to make their home map. First tucked away. Chris J even going to discover him at the very end. Doesn't manage to escape with even a CZ and armor to his name. 14-4, 10 rounds between SK and Mousesports. A convincing CT side behind this Mousesports offensive, and now moving into their T side, they've looked just as confident, if not more.
Well, I think we've always spoken about the crowd being the sort of sixth member of the Brazilian side. When it's like this, I almost think it works for Mousesports. This is exactly the sort of stuff that Nothing was looking for when he spoke at the beginning. He's ready to rival that crowd, and well, that's exactly what they've done. They're going to go for a fast play in towards Stewie. Manages to spray down. 3! All of them go. Finally, SK managed to wake this crowd back up. Stiko and Chris J, all that remains in this round. And the bomb down on B. There should be no chance for them here.
You cannot go into that B-bomb site while Stewie is there. He's made that official. He tried to do it yesterday with his ace to end the game, and now he's managed to find 2 massive kills in this round. Was helped out by Fur, leaving Stiko and Chris J 2 versus 5. It is a lengthy road to pull this game back. A few more rounds like that for SK. Keep pumping up this crowd. Keep working off of each other, and they'll be well on their way to it. They find themselves a 5th top. They keep all 5 players alive as well, so that's fantastic for this economy over on their CT side. That's something they had so many problems with. You think back to the first half, and now they're close to resetting Mousesports. So once again, a chance to string together a couple of rounds, but it all falls down to this one.
Yeah, a big play like that can definitely awaken a team. Chris J going for the shot down middle, but won't find anything. And they're actually going to go for a long take here. CT side, plenty of players ready and waiting. And actually, that is where the push is coming from Stiko. He's taken a lot of control. Coldzera is going to go through the smoke. Finds one, looks for the second, but Rops is going to be available to trade. And I think they've realized that there may be more players than they really want to fight here. Nothing, on the other hand, has other ideas. He's still looking to challenge long. Even spraying through the smoke for Fallen. Well, you don't give him that many opportunities, he will take you down. 14 and 5, a 4v3. SK may be about to rise to the occasion.
Yeah, Fallen's already managed one. He's looking to get even more. Spots them on the cross, but Chris J, from down in the depths of mid, does decapitate him. Even going to find Fur. That's Rops to pick it up. And now we see a 2-on-2. It's Stewie and Bolts. Bolts does pick up Sunny. It's Rops, 7 HP in a dream to take Mousesports through to map point here on Dust. While SK keep the comeback rolling. The bomb is down. The crowd believe in SK. And I think with good reason. Rops on 7 HP. It would require a miracle here for him to find this round. Stewie and Bolts playing together. Rops going to miss that shot, and now they know where he is. They have a smoke for the bomb, and the nade comes through. SK, a 6th round. And it is getting very, very loud in here, Tom.
All it takes is a couple in the round, and a couple in a row. And the crowd are right back with SK once again. Money starts to become a little bit interesting for Mousesports. Now, they did a lot of damage in the previous couple of rounds, but with this much of an advantage, they really don't need to take any sort of risks. They don't need to try and break the economy of SK. They only need themselves a couple, and this map is done, and they can go on to their map choice and look to get themselves into the grand final. Of course, FaZe ready and waiting. They've already eliminated 1 Brazilian. Mousesports want to send the other 4 home.
I most certainly do. Every single time Mousesports have played SK this year in best of 3s, they've been able to beat them. This would be the event that you hope SK could change that statistic, turn it all around. In this one, this round, it's just Sunny and Rops with armor behind those pistols. They've expended any utility they had. Fallen down in mid. Does have 2 players about to cross his way. Timing not going to be in his favor. He smokes it off, but won't be finding a kill there anytime soon, but he does deny any possibility of a peek in from Mousesports. Very slow round, hoping that somewhere SK go aggressive, and Fallen, the timing just isn't with him. They do manage to get up onto short. They have the potential of this split, but there's Fallen with the opener.
Now they go running in towards Bolts. Ready and set up again. Taking down those eco frags. Coldzera will finish things off, and SK have themselves a 7. However, this is where the buy comes back for Mousesports. They can get themselves that AWP and get themselves rifles across the board as well. So this is what they were waiting for. Double AWP setup will come in. Stewie on the secondary. Still waiting for Fur as well. 4 kills at the moment. He can be a man to sort of aggress and really do the damage. Looking like they were going to go for some sort of timing shot there, but I don't know what happened to Robs. Did he get stabbed? Did he get shot by someone as they crossed? Because he's taken some damage.
How much more damage actually to get done on a Seeker right now over at long doors? That's courtesy of Bolts. So a little bit exchanged early. And Mousesports, a team that have been known to throw away the odd lead every now and again. Where this crowd rallied behind SK, you do feel like, you know, they're not out of this one just yet. They're not out of the woods, as it were.
What if QB Fire can do it? I'm sure SK can do it with this crowd behind them.
Scary thing is now, Mousesports, we're praising that confidence. That's something they spoke about a lot, how nothing coming into this has made them realize they can do things they didn't think they could do before. They've slowed right down in these rounds. Gonna go peeking into Fall, and he manages the first, and now nothing was the man trying to trade. Not gonna get there in time. They do topple Bolts down at long. This is an avenue. This is a way back into this round for Mousesports. They've managed to turn it into a 4-on-4. They're gonna look to try and run the gauntlet here. Fallen, Fur, and coldzera. That's a terrifying trio in this A-bomb site if you've ever seen it. You do have Chris J down in the pit. coldzera from the Goose is going to be plucking them off from a range. Fallen misses that first shot, and coldzera gets pressured from short. Fallen tags up nothing, but doesn't manage to find the kill, and Fur caught in a crossfire, trying to fight back. Rob shuts him down. It's Stewie left in a 1v4, not meant to be. The defense crumbles for SK, and that is going to be map point now for Mousesports.
Yeah, it's important he saves this AWP as well. They'll have somewhat of a buy going into the next round, but saving the AWP means that either he can drop like a couple of rifles and Fallen can buy his own, or he can drop an AWP. So it really is a big, big deal if SK are going to look to make this comeback. No time to try and be a hero, no matter how much he would love to do it in front of this crowd. This is all about keeping that weapon in play, and Steeko is going to be rounding that corner. He misses the shot, and there goes that AWP. Now, there will still be money in the next round, but now we could see a few limitations. Maybe only the singular AWP, just in order to make sure that they can get weapons on the remaining players. Actually, yeah, I think Fur actually buys an MP9. I think he was going to be dropped something. Maybe they actually drop a FAMAS instead, but it looked like Stu was ready to drop him a rifle. Either way, 15-7. Map point on the choice of SK. And they have plenty of to play with. They've got 8 attempts, in fact, to try and close this one out. Fallen with that AWP once again, going for a little bit of aggression. Bolts is actually going to continue it forward, and this time he wins the battle versus Steeko. A man advantage into the favor of SK Gaming, but a lot of the time that hasn't been enough. We saw it in the previous round, and things quickly fell back into the hands of Mousesports, who have looked like the dominant force in this map so far. And well, unless SK can streak together 8 and then take it in overtime, they'll be going on to their map choice, which I believe is Train, with a map advantage.
Wow, they've been able to get down through short. Chris J retrieving the bomb back in T-spawn, rejoins up with Rops over here towards tunnels. Looking like it's going to be a B play, but we know how proficient Stewie's been in this area. Nothing trying to sell the fake, now emerges from short, throws out a little bit of utility while the rest of the gang start to pressure this B bomb site. Stewie, he spots them. The pressure's on now as they lose Fallen over at A, and Stewie tries to go for another spray down. This time it just doesn't connect for him, leaving the pressure on Fur. It's an MP9 in B. We've seen this once before on the back of Stewie. Now can Fur make it work to keep SK in this game. He's hidden away. They've got no idea. From up above, nothing hops down. Fur manages one, and it falls to coldzera. He does get toppled by Sunny, leaving Bolts 1v2 in the retake. No utility, but he does have a kit to try and work with. Time ticking down. Sunny has his eye on him, and Bolts drops the ball. Mousesports, they're going to go 16-7 here on Dust 2. The map pick of SK And Mousesports take a decisive victory. It smiles all around. Nothing's looking happy. That was a fist handshake. I've never seen one of them.
Fist five.
Yeah, that was good. Their coordination in the serve a little bit better than their coordination up on the stage. 16-7 at the very end there for Mousesports. Looking good, feeling good. The question now becomes, can SK pull it back in map number 2 to take us through to a third? Because they would love nothing more than to secure a spot in the finals on the stage in front of this home crowd. Or is it going to be the case where nothing sends them home again? We'll find out after the break.
Incendiary out.
Did I seriously get that dude in smoke?
Yo.
Game, record, and stream without compromise. I'm Intel Core i7.
I've been there since the beginning. Every map, every frag, every moment. I run, but I never hide. With knowledge comes power, and power is to be wielded wisely. Which is why, as the expert, I bet with Betway. If you know CSGO, then you'll know the best way to bet on esports is with Betway, for the love of the game.
Esl One Bh is brought to you in part by Intel, Alienware, DHL, Logitech G, Betway, and PaySafeCard.
Dust 2 proves too tall of a task for SK Gaming, as this series just got incredibly difficult, not only for them on stage, but the crowd around us as we prepare for what will be a last hope. They have one more map to keep themselves in this series and keep themselves in the tournament, but for now we talk about Dust 2. SK's map pick. We thought they'd found a new home, they thought they'd found a map that they could call their best, and yet with their Inferno experiments earlier in the tournament, Dust 2 now falls flat for them, and there's a lot to be discussed. Fortunately, myself, Machine, joined by Maniac and Moses are here to break it down. And I want to start with you, Jason, on the end there, just to comprehend a 16-7. I mean, we had 11 CT rounds straight away for Mousesports. SK had nothing to show for their T side.
No, very slow start, and none of their players that are such important tools to their victory really got locked in those first 11 rounds. A couple close calls in there that could have gone their favor, but I mean, Fallen was a little bit quiet. We didn't see that impact out of Stewie, and when you don't get those initial kills, when you don't open anything up and force rotations on the defensive side, it doesn't give space for guys like Cold and Fur to make their kind of play. So really, just a shutdown affair that started out far too slow. And I think, as I mentioned, like this crowd is kind of deceiving in the sense that it makes us forget that SK are the underdogs in this matchup, even with Mousesports having a stand-in.
Yeah, I think we do have to remind ourselves, and one man who was all too familiar with it and aware of it in the pre-match, it was, of course, Jordan Nothing Gilbert. He spoke to us ahead of this one saying he's going to make some Brazilians a little upset like he did last time he stepped over here. But we have him standing by with Trace. Let's hear how he's feeling after dropping close to 20 frags. The man was on fire, looking like we're rewinding the years, rolling back the years. Let's check in with him. Jordan, standing by.
Rolling back the years, and a man that is no stranger to the fire, specifically in the Beard region. Let's talk about this showing here. Jordan, you dropped almost nearly 20, I think right at 20. How you feeling, man? You feeling, are you back?
Dude, I'm just happy to be in the server. I love these guys making noise. They were trying to boo me out there, just feeding me. I'm having a lot of fun, so it's a good time. I hear it right now, and all I want to do is just keep it moving. That's all I want to do.
Oh, man. How many times have we flashbang danced? I don't know if we can get Brazil to do it. But perhaps you can get them to flashbang dance across train. Let's talk about going into this next map. Preparation for you guys coming to this tournament was a little iffy. So talk to me about train.
I mean, you know, there's not much to say. I can give you a cliche answer, but what we're going to try to do is win the match. We're going to try to do it with our best head on. There's not a lot of strats in our book, but there's a lot of play to be had. I have a skilled group of guys on my team, just kind of showing up, doing our thing.
Well, you guys look extremely comfortable out there, and I guess, do you have any parting words, Jordan? Maybe perhaps to your team, maybe to Stu, he just walked by?
Not much to say. Let's play some Counter-Strike, keep making some noise, guys.
Oof. Big oof right there. Thank you, Jordan. We're going to be giving it back to the desk where they can continue to break it down.
It's all an entertainment before any of you start getting upset and tweeting about how much you hate Jordan Nothing Gilbert. It's for fun. It's a video game. Calm down. And it's a whole lot of fun. I love that he's embracing it as well as he is. But yes, he did have a fantastic performance. I mean, Maniac, I'd like to start talking about that just because it wasn't only him. It was Chris J and Nothing ripping apart SK like a knife through butter.
No, absolutely. I think Jordan had a beautiful performance, to be honest. Yeah. Chris J was extremely annoying with his ult. But I just want to touch the point that, for me, was a turning point of the side.
Sure,
absolutely. So if I set the stage, I think Mousesports is up 5-4. SK just won 2 straight rounds building out of short. They would get the entry kill. They would just overrun Mousesports from short. And then I think SK had the right idea. They realized that they forced Mousesports to play with 3 dedicated players towards A, whereas they could have like a 3rd player towards the middle.
Yeah.
So they knew they had forced Mousesports to be 3 towards A, and they lost 2 consecutive gun rounds on B. And I think for me that was a turning point, because had they won those rounds on B, they would have completely lost Mousesports in the grand scheme of
Sorry,
things.
I don't want to ask you to repeat yourself, but just help me understand. So there were 2 rounds, it was 5-4, and they started stacking A.
At this point, SKA had won 2 rounds in a row on A. Okay. So what happens is, if you're Mousesports, your logical response to that is to stack this A side with at least 3 players, whereas you could possibly cheat a 3rd player towards the B side if you wanted to. And I think SKA identified that very well, and they played the B side, which is, in my opinion, the right call. Yeah. But at one point, they lost a clutch. I think that was 3v4 bomb side. That, in my opinion, is T side favorite. and the other time, Robs had a crazy triple kill to save Mousesports from that round. So from this point on, it was really the Mousesports show, and rightfully so, they played amazing. But I think SK wins this round, might be a different side.
Could very well have been a very different story to tell, but we do head into a new map now. Any closing thoughts on Dust 2? Anything else, any observations you made, Jason, that need to be said?
I just think not really nothing crazy. I think in reality it's just, I mean, you can't start 0 to 11 down. You just can't do that.
That kind of can cut that whole conversation short. They had opportunities, but unable to really profit from them, and a really kind of flat result from SK. I mean, I'm looking at the half now, 11-4, just.
Here's the thing overall on Dust 2, and just in the whole context of the series and even bleeding into Train, is we might have done a little bit of a disservice to Jordan and to Nothing, talking about how he can kind of have that intangible impact. This guy was once a world-class player. If he's going to play like that on Train, I don't see a lot of hope even for an upset, despite the players. That's too deep of a Mousesports roster, too deep of experience. And even though he said we didn't have a lot of strats, I mean, even Stunna kind of gave him a little bit of grace and said, you know, preparation was iffy. It was non-existent. So, I mean, this is a really cool performance that Mousesports is bringing out here. Yeah,
he had a fantastic performance. Chris J back on the AWP as well, as he looks like he's got the 1,000-yard stare. What on earth is that? Looks like he just got flashbanged. You all right, Chris? Anyway, Counter-Strike continues on our second map, Train. And to stay on track, I poke you then, Maniac. They haven't got any preparation, but SK, I'm pretty sure this was, at one point or another, their very, very best map. I mean, we've seen SK on Train in the past. Evidently, it's not as comfortable for them as it used to be.
Oh, no, absolutely. I'm not exactly sure what record, but I'm pretty sure they held some kind of record as to win streak on Train.
I want to say it was like 18.
18, yeah, it's
I
probably
had
that.
18 at the tip of my tongue.
And I remember that their victories back then were extremely one-sided. That was not a question. They did not want to play against SK on Train. I think this period also coincided with Fallen being extremely powerful on the AWP. He had this fashion of AST or CT being extremely impactful, being able to bail SK out of very difficult rounds. So he would have to do that today.
I mean, that was you said that actually in the pre-match, just that Fallen, Train, deadly combination if he's feeling it. He wasn't on Dust 2.
Yeah, but he doesn't even need to like necessarily carry it through a whole map. Obviously, that'd be great for SK, right? But if he can, like, the first 6 rounds of the CT side for SK is going to be so critically important, because if he can establish some dominance with the AWP, if he can make Mousesports fear his ability with the AWP just a little bit, that's going to change how they want to play, because that's when you need to dig deeper into the playbook. You need to go to the more complex things that they haven't been able to just kind of throw together with Nothing in the lineup. So you have to kind of, the first 5-6 rounds of this half for SK is going to be so important.
Yeah, it's going to be about a strong start. It's going to be, once again, flying off of that pistol. And if I'm not mistaken, this was, let me work this out. Mousesports picked Train, so I assume...
SK, well, you would assume they're going to pick the CT side. It would almost be crazy if they didn't.
So they could get off to a flying start here, Maniac. Is there any other win conditions? Oh, never mind. It sounds like, it looks like the game's about to start. Ooh. So, Belo Horizonte, SK 1-0 down. This is all they've got left. One chance, one opportunity, and they're going to need everything you've got. Mousesports could knock down the hometown heroes on their map pick. Let's get into it.
Thank you very much, Alex. The stage is set. We have the heroes in the form of SK and the villains with Nothing almost being the face for that, and he's embracing it so well. So coming into this one, Mousesports, they've gone for a nade and a Molotov. That, to me, suggests just going to go for this B play after Molly, either for connector or for the afterplant. Going to be feeling good about that one. No smoke, still he's here with a defuse kit and a flash, and he's already been forced out of the bomb sites. They go running on in. There's the Molly into connector that we're talking about. That denies these rotations. As a result, Mousesports going to go very, very aggressive, looking how to try and challenge these rotating players before they even get into the bomb site. And it's Stiko to open up. Fallen answers back, but Stiko, quick double, leaves Fur and Bolts left in a 2 versus 4.
Yeah, Fur, well, he did not have a good performance on the previous. He needs a huge one here. Does manage a second shot already in the pistol. There's 2 more to go. He's got to go back and try and retrieve himself that kit to buy him a few extra seconds. Obviously, a very open bomb plant, but you look at the position of the remaining 2 players, and I don't know how much that'll benefit them. Chris J is going to be pushing around. This should be an easy kill for him in the end, and it's very similar to the last pistol. Very one-sided. Someone brings it back a little bit, and then eventually Mousesports do exactly what was needed of them. They take themselves the pistol round. And well, again, I just like the setup there. They had everything planned. Molotov thrown in, open bomb plant for all the players to play around once they went aggressive, and, well, now they go in with the rifles. Although, I will say, the second round by SK Hab is one of my favorites. I love myself some double scouts.
Yeah, they become a budget AWP between them, and it's going to be worth its weight in gold when it comes to softening up these players for those upgraded pistols. The CZ and Deagle in particular going to be looking to do some damage with them. Fallen. Oh, gonna tag up Rops. Not even sure how he saw him there. Tiny little avenue, and Fur gonna decapitate Sunny as he looks to try and bound in towards this A bomb site. Now the rest of the team responsible with trying to trade and find these openers, but you already have Rops tagged down low. He was a bit of a star in the previous map for them. Fallen still playing around here, spots out Chris J, hops on down. There's players all around, and Fallen has to tuck himself away. Over on your screens as well, you can see Bolts on this flank. If they can slow them down enough, maybe Bolts can do something, although he does get discovered. Fallen going to tag up Stiko even more. Stewie now emerging from the bomb train. Finally going to get toppled. It's Fur and Bolts left 2 versus 3.
Yeah, what was looking like a pretty decent scenario now becomes, well, impossible. Bolts left with the CZ. Nothing going to wipe down the remaining players. A triple for him already. He definitely has looked good over this tournament, feeling confident to say the least, of course. Well, we actually had the stat of in the previous map, that was, what, Fur's worst performance since something like 2015.
Yes, it's like 0-16 by Fnatic. Do you remember that?
That's just mental.
Very, very early days, Tom.
Yeah, of course. But still not something you really want to witness.
On stage, in front of the home crowd, the worst performance in, 3 years. Since you really kind of made your first big performance. And here's Stiko charging towards this B bomb site. Chris J mopping up all the kills. This should be all said and done. This is a bit of a write-off round anyway, as it was just pistols across the board for SK. Let's not forget, they're over on that CT side. Train, CT-sided map, you'd expect them kind of come out of this half with around about 10 rounds, finding the pistol, finding the Anticos. That's going to help Mousesports out massively, considering this is their map pick. And all these kills they're getting now, combined with what? It was 3 players surviving in the previous?
It's not bad, though.
Yeah, they can get away with that, Tom. They'd take that all day long.
Yeah, AK-47 into the hands of Fur. I'm pretty sure he may have already, or he's very close to matching the amount of kills he got in the previous map. So at least that's something. He has already managed to sort of reset things back, and definitely a player they could use. Chris J going to dunk out Fallen, and Walt Fur is left to just sat back and relax and try and hold on to this AK-47. Not looking like anybody will be able to remove that from his hands, so that's at least a little bit of a bonus for SK going into their first buy round. But in terms of an AWP, well, it's not going to be happening, so that won't be coming in. And I definitely do agree sort of with the desk, the idea of like his thing, like him or their success coinciding with Fallen doing well on that AWP.
Most definitely don't have the money to get that out. And let's not forget, this is already one of the, this is the deepest run, sorry, for SK since Stewie joined the roster at like a top tier event. Well, already smokes and flashes raining out in towards this B bomb site. Fur's fully blind, but somehow he's going to find himself 2, maybe even a 3rd. And Fur springs to life. What a fantastic opener. Found by the man who struggled so much over on Dust. Leaving Sunny and Chris J to pick up the pieces. They've been dismantled on this offensive, and it's Fur at the helm. Sunny was able to trade. They still have so much more to find.
Well, Sunny, a man I more than love to watch on this map. Already doing a hell of a lot of damage, but can't quite find himself the kill. Chris J going to be pushing back in. Cold Zero from above. There's already multiple players here, and the bomb is dropped in the open, something they need to try and retrieve. Well, Bolts is going to shut him down. It is left onto Chris J. He's tagged within inches of his life, and that is going to be a round on the board for SK Gaming.
Crowd's feeling happy about that one, and it's a resurgence of this man on your screens right now. These kills, clinical as ever. That's the sort of confidence boost that we need to see from Fur. I think you're right, he's already outdone his performance from the previous map.
Oh no, he definitely has now.
If he can hit the ground running here on Train, if he can really deal with what went wrong in the previous and start to put up numbers, then yeah, the SK are not out of this one just yet. The buy still able to come in from Mousesports. That previous round was an attempt at the bonus, just holding forward majority of weapons from the previous. They have the AWP out on Chris J. A little bit limited in terms of utility on Sunny and him. Nothing relegated down to a Galil. No way, however. Flushing Fur out from Pop Dog for the meantime.
He is going to take a little bit of early damage. Of course, already we can see the limitations to the buy of this T side. Fair bit of utility missing. They already have Chris J boosted to try and spot anybody over the top of the trains, but won't find anything just yet. Look at that nade. Stico and Nothing both getting tagged, about 90 damage done. Well, now we start to see some utility being expended by Mousesports. 40 seconds left on the clock as they are still building up to hitting this B site. Stewie is going to be ready and waiting. coldzera there to try and hold on with his teammate, and that's exactly what he does. He finds a quick double, almost a triple from Cole, but it seems like he's done enough for his team. It's Chris J and Stico to try and turn this back.
Fallen's already come rotating in. Chris J going to try and lead the charge. Does manage to frag to Stewie. As now it falls to Stico. 1v2, 3 HP to his name, 9 seconds on the clock. It's all stacking up against him, and Fallen on that scout locks in the second round for SK. AWP going to be retrieved. They get that for free, and now they've reset the economy of Mousesports. They're going to look to tie things up very early on here, as it is just Glocks out now for this Mousesports side. Double AWP going to be coming in, interestingly enough. Always feel a little bit risky that when you are up against these pistols. You see Bolts adopting the MP9, looking to try and use this opportunity to make some extra money. You've already seen his willingness to go aggressive. Down through Ivy, this time he turns his attention out to main. There's players in Pop. Bolts and Fur combining with that nade. He's going to keep on pressing the issue. They know that Bolts has gone aggressive here. Don't have much into this round. Anything they can find is going to be great. They managed to get Fur and find his AK. It gives them something to work with now.
Yeah, and Stewie's in a very powerful position, though. Has that range advantage. Nothing that Chris J can do. And while Brock's left with that lone AK-47 and no control of the bomb, you can see the switch up in angles as well from Stewie, knowing that he's going to have a great position for anybody pushing. Bolts will close this down, and well, scoreline equalized, 3-3. The T's now have a buy back of their own. The question is, can Mousesports build into this T side? Definitely seen them have some troubles in the past. Well, we've witnessed them a couple of times, in fact, just get absolutely bodied when it came to this T side. And the fact is they do have their AWP missing, which, although I feel like the boots have definitely been filled throughout this tournament so far, there's a chance that could end eventually.
It certainly is. You're not going to be having that double AWP potential either when they move into their CT side. Bolts are going to go aggressive early on here. Down in Ivy, wins the fight out versus Nothing. That's the man advantage. Grasp very, very early on. Mousesports, no way they can find a trade or an equalizer just yet. As you said, actually, Sunny takes it in his stride, goes peeking out from main. There was Fallen keeping an eye on it, so must have missed the shot. Or just missed that timing on the peak. Now they find themselves back in a 4-on-4. Mousesports, they're going to slow right down for the time being.
Yeah, they've already expended so much utility from the SK side. A couple of incendiaries and a smoke left. Same can somewhat be said for Mousesports. But this is the man I want to be watching on this T side. I think if anybody's going to open things up for Mousesports, it is going to be Sunny. A pleasure to watch on train, and well, he's heading in to the grasp of Bolts, but the timing may get the better. Well, I was going to say if Bolts actually works out in his favor, he can now slow things down. coldzera up aggressive, manages to find an opener, sprays through the smoke and does damage, but Sunny pushing in has found one, and Chris J gathers up another. It's down to this double AWP setup. 30 seconds left on the clock as Fallen sits on the site. They're looking to try and bait out a shot from him, but now Stewie comes into play as well. Both AWPs just sitting almost within inches of each other, and the bomb's going to go down, but Sunny, he's there to trade it back. It's left all on to Stewie, looking for the pick and finds himself one. Sunny as well! What a shot from Stewie! Where did that come from? No scope. And that is going to three. What a clutch.
Stewie's been christened here today, a Brazilian citizen, I think, hands down. He locks in that 4th round. My goodness, he holds down that angle, the gap in the smoke, he takes full advantage of it.
It looks worse the second time.
He's just so slick. Here's Stu, and now for the force buy for the side of Mousesports. They've chucked in what they can. Sonny with an AK, everyone else ecoing, they can get a buy in the next. Sonny going to turn his attention away from main, leaving Rops and Stiko here for the time being. SK, you feel them starting to get warmed up now, the crowd know it. They've gone quiet for a bit, Tom.
That's enough to awaken any crowd.
That most definitely is. Now, Fallen keeping an eye on main. Mousesports, another slow round from them. It's a brief moment of calm before the storm that Push about to come on in over here towards this A bomb site, and Fallen looks to try and hold his own. The flash comes in, that's going to get thrown courtesy of Chris J. Fallen, missed shot on a Sonny. He's the man with the rifle, remember, and he's looked good so far for Mousesports, but are they going to be ready for Fur, who currently sits down in the pop dog, down in the back line, him and coldzera. They dismantle this push on in, and while Sonny manages one, his time should be coming to an end any second now. As Fur finds him, Chris J is left 1v4.
Managing to retrieve himself a rifle at least for a second, but coldzera is going to put him to bed. SK confirm their lead as the buy in the previous doesn't work, but it was somewhat of a sort of mixed buy, really. They can still get a buy back into this one over on the Mousesports side. The loss bonus obviously hitting its maximum, so that was more about just getting some damage done. And although Sonny will not have much utility in that round, on this round I should say, it's not actually going to make that much of a difference. It's the rest of the team with the utility. He's just looking to barrel his way straight out in towards this site, and he's actually snuck into Olov, which could be a bit of a problem. Look how aggressive SK are actually going. They probably don't know he's there, and this position, oh no, this could be a real problem. He's already going to find himself a freebie kill. Bolts goes down as well. That's both aggressors caught just off that aggression, but 2 quick kills back. The double AWP setup going strong once again. It's different players holding it this time. Stewie fairly aggressive on B. He's the only one on B. If he goes down, this is going to open up the site. Trying to take a better position, but Rops will decapitate him and open this B site up.
Double AWPs in the retake. This is going to be a pretty gruesome one for SK. coldzera tries to find a shot on the timing. Now the question becomes, do they even decide to go for this? Fallen on this wrap round suggests they might, but a lot of this is going to come down to if they have any success in the next few seconds. You can see looking hesitant. I think the call has come in. They're just going to look to go for these exit frags, perhaps. Stiko went peeking into it. There might have been a timing, an alternate reality where Fallen finds something here, and then we see them go for it. And while he does find the frag, it is nothing more than a consolation for this round. They do damage to the Mousesports economy. That's what they were looking to do. But it is going to be a 4th for Mouse. You feel like after the 2 shots found by Fallen and coldzera, there was a real shot, them getting back into that.
Yeah, it relied on Stewie to at least get a kill there. That was the thing. He was solo on the site. The problem is with someone like Robs coming out of that upper position, he can just wreck you at times. He is an absolute machine when it comes to that AK-47. However, those 2 AWPs being saved, that's enough money for SK to get a buy back in and a chance to reset Mousesports straight away after just getting back on the board. Bear in mind, it was 5 rounds in a row for SK Gaming. Here we go, look at the aggression from Fur. This is what we like to see from the Brazilian. He has support as well. The crowd is with him too. And well, Rops and Chris J, all that remains. Rops is going to be able to end Fur's life at least. Stewie actually aggressing. He doesn't want to get caught out here. Fallen has found Chris J, and Rops is just unbelievable. Headshot after headshot. However, he needs 3 more. And the bomb's left in the open.
Yeah, this is not an easy task for Rops, especially not with coldzera looking down here towards the ramp inside of B. Props might be able to find a timing where he can catch Cole, but it's not meant to be. SK, a 6th round here on their CT-sided trade. And it seems like all the necessary players starting to wake up. Mainly, the man you're going to be looking at, Fur, had one of his worst performances, actually the worst performance since 2015 when they got 0-16 by Fnatic. Back on dust, now top of the board here on trade. 13-7, his aggression seems to know no bounds. It's vintage Fur, he's rolling back the years, as Henry would so often say. And well, just P250s, Glocks, couple of flashbangs, that's all Mousesports have left in their arsenal in this round. They're going to be heading over towards the B bomb site, where Cold, Zera, and Stewie wait to try and pick them apart.
This is all about the bomb plant. And they should realistically be able to get it. There's quite distant CT players. They got a couple of flashbangs to try and leave them blind. And yeah, all they really care about is getting a bomb plant here, taking a kill or two. That would be perfect. Now already, Cold Zero is going to pick off one. Can they stop the bomb from crossing? That's the real thing. And yeah, they can. Although almost it doesn't make it. Cold Zero just cleans things up. 4 kills on the eco. 7-4. Oh, God. I love it. Absolutely love it. 7-4. T-side now, they can get a buy, but there will be some limitations to it. That bomb plant actually did make quite a big difference. Chris J's not going to have any armor behind his AWP. Stiko's not even going to have a rifle. He's stuck with the CZ. And on the other side, a double AWP setup will reign in again.
Yeah, and this has been key for SK. Now Sunny tries to go aggressive. He's going to get held back by the Molotov, tagged down a little bit as well by Fur, who's been such a nuisance over towards his pop dog position. They just haven't been able to contend with him. Chris J watching for the aggression from Bolts and Ivy. And Mousesports, they're looking scared right now. They're so wary of any of these pushes that can come on through. Because we've seen how frequently SK like to aggress now that they've built up this confidence. The flash going to go down into Pop. It's a nice one. They fall into the crosshair of Fur, but Stiko picks up the kill. Bolts. That's the easiest kill of his life. Chris J goes walking into it, 4-on-4, as he smokes off the Ivy position.
An important resurgence there to not give anything over, but Stiko does manage to retrieve a rifle, so this 4v4 sort of benefits them, but it doesn't last long at all. Fallen definitely looking like he's back in play with this AWP. And while the T side looking like they're about to head towards the B side, but there are actually a couple of players ready and waiting. Cold Zero with that AWP once again. They've decided against leaving Stewie here alone anymore. It wasn't working earlier, so they've rectified the problem. Rops looking for those openers. He's been excellent at it so far. The question is, can they get these players off of this side? No, they can't. Stewie pushes. It's only going to be one, but he's got Cold to support him anyway. And Stiko, well, the bomb plot would be nice, but through the wall, he's dead. Another round for SK. And I'm getting deja vu here. We saw Liquid come back in the second map after being pretty much bodied in the first. SK, they're looking to copy at least one of their Brazilian comrades.
Yeah, maybe they're just wanting as much time in front of this crowd as they can get, Tom, as they look to try and take us through to a third map. For those of you who are just joining in, map 1 went the way of Mousesports. It was Dust 2, the map pick of SK, the map they've been trying to make home. We had a very, very weak performance from Fur. Coming into the second, it's SK in the lead right now, 8-4, and Fur, the man who struggled so much in the previous map, is having the resurgence of a lifetime right when they need him to.
Yeah, they've got everything at the moment. They've got Fallen popping off, someone who in recent times has been pretty quiet. Cold Zero back to his sort of god mode. He's 14-5 at the moment. And we've sort of had this conversation from both teams. Like, oh, if Mousesports, if everybody goes off, oh, there's very little SK can do. Well, I feel like the same could be said for SK. If everybody's going off, there's not much that can be done. Sunny, he's tried that aggressive push once again. It has failed miserably, but the rest of the team are going to try and head in onto Fallen. He's got that AWP. They only have pistols, so him getting overwhelmed would be a problem, but it doesn't look like anybody's getting overwhelmed. A completely flawless round from SK Gaming. They hit their 9th on this CT side. And while Mousesports They're looking a little flat.
Yeah, it's back to the drawing board here for Mousesports. Everywhere they go, SK Gaming are one step ahead, winning these opening duels time and time again. The only place they were having success was Rops finding the entries into B. And even then, with the adjustment of moving coldzera here, that has turned stale this time. They're just going to go for this B play. It looks like early on, sending everyone towards this avenue of the map. coldzera, he does fall at the first hurdle. And now, on the back of it, they look to go charging in. The pressure falls to Stewie and Fallen. Fallen hits the deck. Rob's going to go walking in. It's Stewie to line them up. 2 kills makes this one possible. Just as you say it, Sunny's straight in with the return. Bolt's left in a 1v3. That nade somehow doesn't find nothing. And the flank from Sunny could be the play that ends this round.
Oh, he's doing so much damage to the remaining players on the site, but can't quite finish any of them. And as you said, Sunny in from behind should make this impossible, but Sunny actually kills nothing. That gives away his position and actually takes down one of the opponents. Chris J, thankfully for Mousesports, will finish off that kill, but oh. Maybe there is a little bit of bad blood against the standing.
Sunny's trying to get on the crowd's good side right now.
Oh, God.
Doing everything he can. It is going to be a 5th round for Mouse. They've hit what would be kind of their quota. Nice attempt from Stewie, but ultimately the trades that did come through for Mousesports are fantastic.
He's so ready. He even kills his teammate. Well, it's always good to see. Final round of the half, we have a buy up onto both sides. Rifles, utility, even an AWP for Chris J. But the double orb's going to come back in turn this time. Fallen wins himself that opener. Chris J is going to play no further part in this half. They are going to gamble a second player back towards the B site now that they've found that opening. Sunny, though, always seems to be there to trade things back, and is going to be able to fade away before anybody can kill him off.
Yeah, they've slowed right down. Sunny currently finds himself trapped. Does manage to get on by, just misses the timing from Fallen. Nothing up on this boost, hoping that he can spot out one of these players. It's going to be coldzera that he's looking for, but won't find anything. Slow round once again. The plan is have Sunny come on round on that flank in from Ivy. The rest of Mousesports stacking up, about to hit this B bomb site once again. It's Stewie and coldzera to try and keep them away and hold back the coming tide of Mouse. Push about to come through. Throwing all the utility, and actually it looks like it might be a fake. The bomb rotates away. Stiko tries to sell it. Does tag down coldzera. The rest of the guys in towards A they go. Fallen lands the first, and now he has to do all that and more. Forced off the angle. Nothing going to be the next to walk into the gauntlet. Fallen looks to try and shut this round down. Stiko pulls it back as best he can. In a 1v2, Stewie seals it. It's a 10-5 half. SK. They managed 10 rounds here on their CT-sided train. Is that going to be enough to take us through to a 3rd map and keep them up on stage in front of this home crowd that much longer?
Well, our 3rd map, in case you didn't guess already, is Inferno. All the best series in Counter-Strike end on Inferno, and I'm hoping SK Gaming can do what they're currently doing and take us there. We've had some highlight moments. We've had some big plays. We've had some massive step-ups across the board for SK Gaming from what we saw on the previous map. However, now Mousesports go on to that all-favoured CT side. Yes, they have a stand-in. Their AWPer is missing. But at the same time, they've still been excellent so far.
Look at this crowd as well. They are rallying behind SK. And that is one beautiful sight. The lights lighting up the stadium. In the same way that there might be a brighter future for SK in this 2nd map. This is unbelievable. We're about to get into this one. The second half, SK trying to take us through to Inferno. As you say, where all great series culminate. They've got the Molotov for Fallen, 2 smokes, 2 flashbangs. They're going to be walking over here towards his B-bomb site early on, leaving Fallen with his smoke. Back at 8. With the 2 smokes, it might be the A play with players aggressing in through Pop Dog. Can throw a smoke down for Connector. One up on the bomb train as well, and that does look to be the case. They rain in, and now this push set to come through. It's going to be players exiting out from Pop Dog. Fallen from main, they go running on in, and there are players here. There's 4 players from Mousesports to try and keep them at bay. The bomb looks to go down, and it's going to be a 5v5 in the retake.
A bit of a different plan, that's why it's not found, but actually, Chris J already manages to find a pick back. There is a kit onto Stico as well. Nothing goes aggressive, misses a few shots, but does manage to find the frag. And I wonder if he spotted Cold Zero as well. The interesting thing, though, is Stewie wrapping all the way around through the connector. He could be the linchpin, but they've got to stop the man on the defusal. That's exactly what he does. And leaves it down to 2. Versus 2, Sunny and Nothing desperately trying to get back in there, but Stewie, he may have just done enough. He's bought a lot of time for his team, and I don't think there's any time for the defusal left. Stewie has won this round and ends it with the 4. Brilliant round from the man who may not be from Brazil, but I think he may be at the moment.
He most certainly is feeling it, Tom. There he is, the man on your screens. Really pulling through for SK when it counts, winning the pistol here, going to put them up 11-5, and if they can convert the next 2, they will be but 2 rounds away from map point. So close to that 3rd map. They're going to turn their attention over here towards B. SK, they've been more than willing to aggressive on their CT side. Even the pistol round was pretty fast. But this time they're going to slow right down and apply the brakes early on.
Rops already tagged pretty low. Normally expect to see this guy as the lone defender of the B site, and he pretty damn good at it. Pretty damn good at it. But in this round, obviously, severe limitations for Mousesports. Chris J not going to be investing too much, as he wants to make sure he can have his AWP into the buy round that won't come in for a couple of rounds. Of course, by that point, we expect to see SK on 13. The fact is, though, these pistols should not go amiss, especially Sunny with that Deagle. I think there's highlight clip after highlight clip of him on this map with this very gun, so we'll see if he can do it once again. Clock beginning to tick, and SK getting ready to set up over towards that A side of the map. The smoke looking to fall in once again. They've got a couple of them to play with. Not that much in terms of utility, and Nothing actually still has a smoke. He could buy quite a bit of time. That's exactly what he's going to do.
Yeah, that's going to go ahead and leave them with about 14 seconds if they wait for that to fade, so they have to go through. Sunny's holding close, and he's going to get spotted out. They know that he's here now. He's doing so much damage through the smoke. Chris J and Nothing manage more frags. They go running by Sunny. This is a shooting gallery for him. And it is just Cold Terror left. Somehow, Mousesports looking like they've done it. They're going to find a sixth. They managed to win out the force buy there. And for SK, that's just gut-wrenching.
Yeah, not only does Nothing get himself 2 kills, but that smoke that won them the round. Hands down, that won them the round, because SK had to go from being fairly methodical in their play, looking to try and clear out angles, to running straight through a smoke. And that is where just panic ensued, and that's where those pistols are more than valuable. So, again, Nothing showing his value in this Mousesports side. Of course, Sunny did hit some shots with the Deagle. I'm not surprised by that by any stretch of the imagination. And now, well, a fair few rifles picked up for Mousesports. And all that remains on the SK side is a singular scout and some pistols.
They really do not have much to work with, clutching at straws in this round. To try and find something that works. Some sort of formula. Rops is alone inside of this B-bomb site, but this man is one hell of an anchor. Waiting patient as ever, SK. Time on their hands, Fallen. Gonna tag up Sunny. Even damage done to Nothing, but He's going to answer back with some damage of his own. Suddenly for SK, they've got a man down. Ooh, Coldberry spotted Rops. That's prompted the rotation in from Sunny. And actually, they're rotating everyone over Mousesports. They've over-rotated 3 players into that B bomb site. If SK went quickly, they would catch Mouse out of position. They're just going to miss the timing onto it, but Es fallen with the opener. 30 seconds on this clock, 4 on 4, damage inflicted onto Sunny. There is still a chance for SK here.
And they're going to go back to B. There is only that one man there, the man that we sort of talk about when it comes to this B site, Rops. The young gun from Estonia will have to try and hold back the might of the Brazilians. They don't have much weaponry though, and they really don't have much time. He drops the bomb and this is over. He's got to watch out. There's a man above him, but he does drop the bomb. He hears the footsteps as well, spins around and, well, shuts this down. Fallen is going to try as he might to get the bomb down, but it's not happening. A masterclass from Rops of positional play, and it will be that 7-11 scoreline.
Yeah, now for SK, they just have to take the eco. They just have to grit their teeth. This round not going to be pretty. It will just be Glocks across the board. Mousesports, a team that, in the past at least, has so often struggled with resilience. Not showing that now as they look to try and claw their way back into this game. Going to be looking to go 8-11 at the end of this one before SK manage to get their buy on the board. Fallen can go for an AWP in the next round. So they will have that to work with, at least one flash invested into by Fur. They're just going to like to explode out in towards one of these bomb sites, and the positioning of Stewie does give them a slightly nicer angle to work with. He can look to try and use that Glock up close, but you're really not expecting much. And there we go, he goes down.
Yeah, this round is pretty much a write-off. They've got to try and just do a little bit of damage. If there's some sort of miracle play that gets in the bomb plant, that would be wonderful, but can't really expect too much here from SK Gaming. They're playing with the bare minimum. Also just hoping for some sort of mistake to come out. Mousesports, of course, will get things right back up to 8, and that sort of second round is one that SK may live to regret. They managed to take that over the line, and they are in a much more commanding position. What we're looking at around 13-5. Instead, Mousesports are only going to be 3 rounds behind. Of course, all the pressure here on SK Gaming in front of their home crowd. And also playing against a team who do have a standard, although I can't even say that that seems to be much of a detriment anymore. Like, nothing has played so excellently through this series that, wow, maybe Mousesports should just pick him up.
Yeah, you know, maybe we'll hold off on the conspiracy theories for the time being, Tom. We'll wait till all is said and done, but there's no question in the fact that, you know, this won't be the last we see of Nothing, I don't think. He's definitely impressed after his time away. And well, now this buy comes in for SK. Rifles upon rifles. Mousesports going to be going for their attempt at the bonus round, courtesy of keeping all 5 alive in the previous, and it's aggression early on that nets them that frag onto Fur. They've already taken control of main. Look at the effect this has had. SK caught now, trying to find a trade, trying to find the equalizer and stop Mousesports from running rampant behind enemy lines, and they're not able to do so. They do just slip one out, so man advantage gains for Mouse and no way of answering back for the Brazilian squad.
It's worth noting as well that considering Fur was like way far in front of everybody else on the scoreboard when we're in that first half, he's now level KD-wise, so he has gone a little bit quiet. That could definitely be a difference maker here. Mousesports always had an excellent CT side of this map, so this game is nowhere near done. The sneak coming in, Rops and Sunny, the tag team on this B site. Rops, I would expect him to get one here. Actually misses the first shot, but does do the damage nonetheless. Tries to fade away, but will they expect Sunny up close? The answer to that question is no. Already taking one. Nothing then rotates in, and Bolts, well, Bolts is nowhere near. He was meant to be that sort of last-ditch flank to try and catch players off as they rotate. The fact is, there's no flank to be had. One player dies, and Mousesports are going to be able to keep the remainder. And just look at the cash already starting to build up. there'll be a few players around that $10,000 marker once it comes to the end of this round. Bolt's looking to try and maybe reduce that slightly, and he does take down Stiko. But the fact is, going into the next round, he may be the only person with any money. 2,900 will go into the hands of his teammates, and he's just going to have that solitary rifle. Now, actually, him saving this is not the worst thing in the world, because after this round, they'll get maximum loss bonus, so he will be able to afford an AK and armor plus anything extra with the kills he gets. So this is actually not bad. It's a chance for him to do a bit of damage.
And you always can't help but think how different it would have been had they converted that anti-eco over in the second round. Mousesports, on the back of that, propelled themselves very much back to the forefront of this game. They're looking to try and end this here and now in 2 swift maps. SK doing anything to pull us through to Inferno, and it's going to be a fast play in towards the A-bomb site. From Stewie, he's been throwing that AK. The rest of the guys out from Pop Dog. Chris J pops Stewie. Sonny's now looking to try and get his piece of the pie. He's going to double down, leaving Bolts and Fallen backs against the wall, being swarmed onto. Bolts, while he does manage one, the nades just come raining in, and Rops on the flank shuts down SK in that round. They weren't expecting to get too much done with the rifle, but that was very well controlled by Mousesports, not letting it get out of hand, not letting the AK find anything.
Yeah, 5 rounds in a row now for Mousesports. We saw them 11-5 down not too long ago, but they have strung rounds together since that force by victory. We are seeing SK Gaming taking themselves that tactical pause. They can get themselves the AWP onto Fallen, no trouble. Cold Zero Co will be in with the rifles, and well, you can see Chris J, I think, like, this is almost like when Oscar comes back, it'll be one of those moments where, yeah, he'll have to give the mantle back, but at least he will have kept that all warm. I don't think there's any doubt that anybody's looking at him and going, oh yeah, he hasn't performed. He has been excellent so far in this tournament. Crowd obviously trying to rally SK, and well,
I was going to say, yeah, it sounds like the Portuguese cops is just down the way. Have definitely got the crowd believing in SK in this round. So if they've done it, we can do it, Tom. Let's see, can SK work hard to maintain this lead, or is this where Mousesports tie things up? In map number 2, Mousesports currently sitting 1-0 in the series. SK hoping to recover and take us through to this 3rd map. I think they might find solace in a faster play out here towards A, where they have to contend with the man himself, the man in question, Chris J. Up on the boost, who hasn't missed many shots today. Push about to come in. There he is, finding the first. And now they know where the railgun's position. They look to try and avoid it, but Stiko surprises them. A second AWP chiming in into this round. Fallen doing what he can with the big green gun. Does manage one. Still has so much more to find. Fur looks to slip by, and nothing's not missing a beat. It's Fallen and Cold Zera, an iconic duo, but still 2 men down, fighting to keep themselves in this round nonetheless.
Yeah, they've got plenty of time to play with them by the looks of things. They're going to allow Fallen to try and make one of those critical plays. I don't think he spots his opponent, and well, nothing is going to happen here. A 6th round for Mousesports, back-to-back, and only a single player going down. They really are performing. Chris J was on 16,000, so he's going to easily be able to buy his AWP back in. That's the biggest problem as well, that the rounds that they've been winning have been so clean that the fact is, Mousesports just have so much money now. Even if they manage to win a round back, there's going to be 3 coming up before they actually destroy that Mousesports economy. And even then, the loss bonus will start to play in. So, SK, they need something. They need it now. Well, the buy may not really suffice. They've got some MAC-10s. They are going to go back to running straight through. Stiko, you got to be careful, buddy. That MAC-10 is going to take him down. But it seems like even still, the fast pace is more just going to be how fast this round ends. Nice shot from Fur. At least gives the crowd something to cheer about. Can he do anything more? Rops waiting round the corner. He's just going to put Fur to bed before he's allowed to take another shot. 12-11. Mousesports, after being 11-5 down, take the lead.
Yeah, this is brutal. I mean, after Fur hits a shot like that, maybe you think something could happen. Once again, trying to get the crowd rallied behind SK. As you said, Tom, they had a 10-5 lead. This was 11-5 at the start of the half. And now Mousesports, not only have they caught up, they find themselves in the lead. And that right there, that is probably the most down I've seen this SK side look in quite some time. The lights are out once again in the arena, everyone banding together to try and show SK that Brazil is behind them no matter what. We need to see more from this SK side. Mousesports, double AWP, back out. Stiko and Chris J going to be fielding them. AWP for Fallen. And now the question becomes, where can SK find their success? Because right now they've had none of it on this T side.
Yeah, Chris J has been unstoppable, and well, he's only the beginning of the cast of Mousesports. They haven't actually needed to come down to these closer round scenarios. We haven't seen too much B presence from SK in the last few rounds, so it is looking like we may see something a little bit different. Again, it is just going to be one man over towards this B site. It is Rops to try and hold it once again, alone as he finds that first kill and just looks to try and hold on to it. Bomb is going to be planted, something we haven't seen too much from SK Gaming. The fact is, though, they're already playing with a man down.
Yeah, this is their second bomb plant in the entire second half, so they're looking to try and hold on to this one. Now, they haven't been given this opportunity all too much. Rotations coming through from Mousesports, and it's Fallen the first to step up to the plate. Burrs there, Fallen in with another. They found where their success might lie. They think it's inside a B, but Chris J looks to change their mind. He even burns out Fallen, and now they're back in this one. Cold Terror and Bolts. A tall task ahead of them. Cold Terror, damage done. It falls on a Bolts, and Rops is forced off the defuse. Times tick too low, and SK they're gonna find themselves the 12th round. They dig deep when it matters most, and they've tied things up once again.
This is everything for SK. This round right here is absolutely everything for SK Gaming. They lose this one, they have no money, almost definitely have to force, and we could see, well, pretty much map point come in for Mousesports. The fact is the CT side still have loads of cash. There is no way SK are out of the woods just yet, but Fur, well, he's looking to go fast. They're looking to speed up the pace once again. Fur leading the charge, Stewie running through that smoke, but it's nothing to kick things off. Sunny to combine with him to give them the man advantage. Make it two, in fact. But Fur needs a hero play. He spotted both players, finds himself one. Knows that Stiko's around the corner and has the support from Fallen, but it is all but left onto Fur, and Sunny's going to put him to bed. 13-12. You can see by the look on their faces, they know how crucial that round was as the money hits SK hard.
Yeah, this is the definition of a harsh reset for SK. They have no money. They know the importance of that round. You can see the looks on their faces. That's the round you're going to be heading into with all the pressure on your shoulders. This time around, with the weight of the world on it, it looked like it was too much. 13th for Mousesports. They retake the lead once again, a chance for a 14th, and it looks like SK, they've gone for the tactical purchase. AK up on Bolts, hoping that he can do something alone. They do manage to get some utility up on Fur. They're going to go for the force. They're going all in. They want to try and make the comeback happen here and now, but a loss here means they're eco into the next. And at that point, you've handed series point the way of Mousesports. So it is all on the line in this round, Tom. So much to play for. And all that pressure now falls onto the back of Bolts with that one AK. They had success on B. That was the one round they've been able to get. I guess the 2 rounds, they found the pistol here as well. They're going to go back to basics.
Once again, we've witnessed Rops be magnificent down on this site. He's even going to have a little bit of support from Sunny as well. I think they might realize that, well, there's more than a chance that they could just be going for a bomb plant in this round with the amount of damage that's done. But here we go. Quick push in towards the site. They need that opener. Fur already down to just 1 HP, but they are going to take some closer control. The fact is, though, Rops always seems to be good for 1. In fact, it's a double, and this is just a slaughter. Mousesports, they dominate that round. Heads back into the chairs from SK Gaming, as now they have nothing to play with, and they pretty much have to let the map point go.
Yeah, force buying here means you're force buying to the very end of the game. On the flip side, you let this one go away in Mousesports, you do manage to get a buy into this next round. You won't have the AWP, you won't have everything you need, but you'll have the firepower at the very least. And then you have to try and win 3 in a row to force overtime here on the map pick. And Mousesports already being 1-0 up in the series. That would mean they win it if they find victory here on trade and lock in their spot in the finals. SK now are the last hope for there to be any Brazilian representation on that final stage, and it almost wouldn't feel right if they weren't there. They're going to try and play in towards this B bomb site. They just want the bomb down, but Rops, good for 2. The trade does come in from first. The bomb's going to go down at the very least for SK, and that's pretty big. It gives them that much more to work with into the next round. They're going to have utility. They're going to have all the trimmings of a buy. There's still a chance as well. First found an AK. That nade onto Bolts leaves him. Now nothing going to find Fur. 15-12. Mousesports going to go ahead and reach match and series point here in the semi-finals versus SK.
Well, this is it, really. This is Mousesports' chance to get themselves into the grand final versus FaZe, who are already waiting for them, obviously eliminating Team Liquid earlier in the day in a 3-map thriller. And well, I know at least myself and many Counter-Strike fans at home will be hoping, and in this room, that we'll get to see Inferno.
I definitely think the people in this room are going to be thinking
they're a little bit biased, but you know.
Double AWP brought out. Rops, interestingly enough, going to be picking one of those up alongside Chris J. But fast out towards this A-bomb site, but it's Chris J. Aggression at Ivy. He is going to get mollied down low. Fur's been tagged to 14 HP, and Stiko even hanging around. Fallen does have a bearing as to where Stiko is, but he's allowed to cross on out of there. So Mousesports going to maintain the man advantage at series point.
Yeah, this is where SK Gaming, they need themselves a hero. They've had the crowd behind them all the way. One big play can be enough. We saw Stewie with a 1v2 with the AWP earlier in the match, which set them up in that first half. A 10-5 half it was. Remember, this was 11-5 at one point. 10 of the last 11 rounds have gone the way of Mousesports, and they just need one more to finish off this series. A couple of players over towards that upper B portion of the map. Rops. Oh, he even jumps up. I was about to say maybe it'll be whack-a-mole. In fact, the mole strikes back. Nothing finds another. And Stewie and Fur is all that remains of SK Gaming here in Brazil. They've got to try and save their team here. Fur will at least manage to find himself one. But can they do it?
Well, it's the new boy to the team, Stewie, to get this bomb down. 2 versus 4. This is to keep SK in this. They still need to win 2 more after this round. Stewie, we've seen him do magical things with smokes. He's going to get tagged over the top a bit, and up close, nothing's there to find him. Fur, 14 HP, doesn't expect the wrap round. Sunny drops him, and Mousesports, they're going to do it. They close out this series in a 2-0 fashion, securing their spot in the finals tomorrow versus FaZe. There won't be any Brazilian representation as Mousesports send SK home, which for nothing, this is the second time in his career now he's been able to do that.
I thought you might mention that.
Even sending home his old mate Stu. Congratulations to Mousesports and commiseration.